And good morning. It is a Thursday edition of GCR. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Got a lot of feedback about yesterday's show. I'd say thank you, but, that's not really about me. Obviously, it's about Brooks Robinson, and it was about a lot of wonderful people that were willing to take some time to share their memories and their reflections, and I'm still kind of shook by the conversation that we had with Bobby Grich yesterday. Like, it was one of the greatest conversations I've ever had in the history of doing this or any show. It meant that much to me. So thank you for all the feedback we got. I appreciate it, but, that's if you're going to do this, you do it because that's what you do on these days. And I don't want to even say it's not an obligation, it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to spend a couple hours talking to the people that love Brooks Robinson. Like, that's an honor to me that I was able to do that. Now, so I just want to take a second here because I don't want to make it seem like, well, that was one day and we're just going to move on. We're still going to do Brooks Robinson conversation. I know Roy Firestone's going to join us tomorrow. Stan, of course, will be with us tomorrow. We had asked Stan if he wanted to come in yesterday because, as you guys know, Stan is very close with Brooks. But we're going to keep that to tomorrow, and we're going to talk lots of Brooks tomorrow. We didn't do anything else, so we're going to do a lot of other stuff today. But I don't want you to think that we're just doing, hey, well, there's one day for Brooks, and then we're never going to talk about Brooks Robinson again. Like, I promise you, there will still be more Brooks Robinson conversation on this show moving forward, but probably not a lot today. Just because we have so much other things going on and so much stuff that we moved to today, and we even had to cancel some things that we were going to do today. It's a whole crazy thing. So here's what's coming up on the program today. The incomparable Ian Eagle is going to join us later on this hour. He's on the call for Ravens-Browns on Sunday. Speaking of incomparable, Marty Smith, one of the nicest people. It's funny, we were talking about Brooks Robinson, right? And how he's never had an off day. Marty Smith, truly one of the kindest individuals in our business. From ESPN, he's got a new book out. It's called Sideline CEO, in which he sat down with some of the most successful coaches in all of sports to try to really dive in on their concepts for leadership and trust. And it's a fascinating read as I've gotten into it. So I'm looking forward to that. Also today, we will chat with Sean Greeley in just a few minutes, Maryland linebacker, Haverty Grace alum. He made some history over the weekend as he had both a forced fumble as a linebacker and a touchdown catch as a fullback, which you don't see very frequently. He might be the next Patrick Ricard.
Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's good company.
Right? That'd be very good company. We'll talk to him about that. And also this morning we'll make our picks with Ken Zalis and segment number 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show with special guest Michael Pierce, all on the way. A lot to do on the program today. Today's show is brought to you by, this one's brought to you by the Baltimore County Police Department. The Baltimore County Police Department has a hiring event coming up on October 28th at the Public Safety Building, 700 East Joppa Road in Towson. Applicants can complete multiple parts of the hiring process, including the agility test, the written test, and the ability to apply right there on the spot and go through the whole process. Plus, members of the specialized units will be in attendance. Starting that afternoon, their second annual Trunk or Treat event, which is just a safe, fun environment for your kids. If you say, I'm not really sure, trick-or-treating, don't really know if that's something I want them to do, this is the place. Come on out for the Trunk or Treat with the Baltimore County Police Department on October 28th. And you can find out more by calling 410-887-4584 or by visiting the website joinbaltimorecountypd.com. Hey, Boston Fs, thanks for nothing, you jerks.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. I have reached the point in my life where I don't even allow myself to think it possible, because then I'm going to be disappointed, right?
Yeah.
Like, I went, literally, I think if you saw, I posted a picture of my buddy and I on social media because I was very my like lifelong friend, best friend, best man at my wedding, lives in Brooklyn now, but he's doing this, he's involved with this show. He's a musician and his partner is an actress, and she's doing this, I'm actually going to it tonight in Pennsylvania. It's an immersive Edgar Allan Poe show, like outdoors, like sort of going through different works of Edgar Allan Poe, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Of course, it's gonna be as the Orioles might be clinching. My buddy John and I already had a conversation about that. Like, it's gonna be awkward when I'm the guy pulling out his phone. And he's like, I understand. I'm like, thank God, because it might be awkward otherwise. But for my 40th birthday was a couple weeks ago, and he called me. He said, "Hey man, I want to come down, and I want to go to a game. I want to take you." And then he sprung for these really nice tickets, which is really sweet of him. And I took a picture early on in the game, and I posted on social. I was like, we're celebrating my 40th birthday and a potential AL East championship. And I literally said in words, probably not tonight, but soon. Because I just didn't want to allow myself the opportunity to be disappointed, right? Just wanted to be able to live, like, have a great night with my, like, lifelong best friend, going to a baseball game, watching a good Orioles team. It's been brought up by a few people. I've never seen this. This is the funny part, right? Like, the Orioles are on the cusp of 100 wins. I've never in my lifetime seen an Orioles team 40 games over 500. This is unprecedented for me. And yet, we all still have to admit, we're not sure whether or not we really believe in this team. In 2014, we thought the Orioles were going to win the World Series. And by record, this team is better than that team. You can't make sense of it. It's bizarre, right? Like, we have no idea how to explain it. But I didn't allow myself so that I couldn't be disappointed. And it was just fun being at the game. It was fun seeing Adley Rutschman have a big night. Grayson Rodriguez was obviously very good. We can nitpick about him allowing some base runners in the final inning or two and not being able to get out of the sixth inning. You hope that that's something that, like, he can deliver a little bit more in the postseason, but at the same time, we also know in the postseason that they're not going to be inclined to let him work deeper into games. It was just a really good night, and it's part of it too is that what we were celebrating is that we know they're going to win the division. Like, we know it's not like this could be ruined tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, we know that all it takes is one win or one Rays loss. And did you see the Rays doing a champagne celebration last night?
Last night, really?
Yeah, really weird bit. The Rays.
How did I miss that?
Apparently, when they clinched, they were in Baltimore.
Right.
And they had lost. And remember, it was that bizarre scenario that I
Yes.
talked about that was possible with the Orioles. And so they didn't do a champagne celebration when they clinched a playoff spot. So they just, like, picked an arbitrary game and said, let's celebrate now.
Let's destroy the Boston locker room.
Like, maybe they had thought to themselves, well, let's not do it in case we end up winning the division.
And
Let's
now
not do a celebration at all. And then, like, it hit them. Well, that's not happening. So they just picked some arbitrary game where they accomplished nothing and said, let's have a party. It's very weird. Very weird
it
bit.
is.
But yeah, they had a celebration last
Well, it's like
night.
they enjoyed themselves.
I'm sure they did. Nothing more fun than spraying champagne. Had a back and forth with a longtime, I say, listener and someone who was a contributor to a few websites in town, Dylan Atkinson, yesterday about roster construction. I was admittedly a little bit surprised that it was McKenna who was the one to go for Mountcastle after the conversation we had the other day. I guess that means that Kjerstad is still going to be the odd man out here, but is it possible? Like, the fact that it wasn't Kjerstad who was sent down here makes me wonder if it's because they're viewing a role for Kjerstad in the postseason. And if that's the case, is it possible that it's Arias? Is it possible that it's the argument that was presented to me was I think they go with a deeper bench and a shorter group of pitchers. And that was an interesting thought, right? You the argument would be, well, you only need 4 starters, so there's one roster spot immediately that it's expendable, right? Like, you have still a full bullpen with 4 starters. I don't think I would be okay with that thought process for 2 reasons. One, because we know, as we just referenced, you go to your bullpen so much quicker in the playoffs. The likelihood of guys going 6-7 innings is slim. With this particular group of starters, it would be even slimmer. So I start there. And then, 2, remember that the postseason rules, the extra inning thing goes away in the postseason. So all it takes is one 15-inning game, and if you decided to go with a shorter pitching staff, you're kind of effed. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. We don't know that that's going to be, but they have to think about that possibility as they construct a roster. So I'd still be inclined to say I don't think they're going to go shorter on pitching, even if they don't have extraordinary trust in the entire group. I still think they want to have an extra arm available to them. And I just don't see them saying we can live with one less arm in order to have one more bat. I get it. I do know that Brandon Hyde likes having those many options to pull off the bench.
Yeah.
But that is a risk that is maybe in a 5-game series, right? Like maybe in the division series I could see it, because you don't even know that you're going to need your 4th starter in that. I mean, in a perfect world, you go sweep the series and it's all good. Like maybe they consider that because they know there's no way the series is going more than 5 games. I absolutely could not fathom it in an American League Championship series. I still think it's a risk even in a division series. Again, let's just say Game 1 goes 16 innings. What was the playoff game a couple years ago the Dodgers were involved in that went?
God, like 20. No,
right?
Did it go 20? Did it go 20?
I don't know. It went forever. But imagine that scenario. Unless you have an injury, and I get it, you can always fake an injury, I guess. But unless you have an injury, you can't make a roster move. And if you make a roster move, that person can't just come back. I don't think I'd be comfortable with you going short on pitching in a playoff series. I think I would be opposed to that. And I get it. None of us think Fujinami, like I'm not
right.
But that's to me the odd man out right now. Like I know that we could debate Cole Irvin, but I think you just might need the innings. Like you just might need the guy that you can have come in, and that goes back to the conversation about, what roles do you need filled on a playoff roster? And to me, Cole Irvin might end up being the guy that you say, hey, the only time you might pitch is if the game goes to extra innings. There's not going to be an in-game role for you. That role would instead be available to, say Dean Kramer if he's not in the playoff rotation, like an in-game multi-inning. You had to get out of a jam in the 4th, and so you went to the bullpen, and now you need someone to give you 3. I think that would become Dean Kramer's role. Whereas a role for Cole Irvin might be, dude, you're not going to pitch unless we get into that 12th inning scenario where we don't know where the game's going to end, and then you're going in, and we need you to do some yeoman's work for us. I think the point that John Mioli made the other day is significant, which is you probably don't announce, you announce your playoff rotation as being Bradish, Grayson for games 1 and 2. We all kind of know that John Means is game 3, but you don't even necessarily say it out loud. And then you decide game 4 based on what you need in those first few games. With Kramer being more likely to be somebody that you use in a traditional bullpen role just because, as John pointed out, his stuff has more of an ability to be electric in a short burst. In a short burst, if you needed someone to really ramp up, he could deliver that. Whereas Gibson might be the guy that you say, hey, you're not pitching in game 1 because if for some reason game 2 were to get out of hand, then we're going to need you to go eat 4 innings for us. And if you get your butt kicked, you get your butt kicked, but we're not going to allow losing a game to turn into losing 2. But if you only need Kramer's role, then Gibson's safe for game 4. If you only need Gibson's role and you don't use Kramer, then you can have Kramer start game 4. I just don't think you announce a starter for game 4. And his point was you don't really announce a starter for game 3 anyway, but I don't think you can afford to have such extraordinary flexibility that you could use John Means in game 1 or 2. Like, I think you have to have John Means start. So we can say you don't have to announce it, but I think it's just sort of playing poker at that point. I don't think you can afford to not have John Means start a game in a playoff series for you. Maybe in the division series you could say, hey, if we just thought the matchups – no, you got to have John Means start a game. He's got to be your Game 3 starter. So you don't want to announce it, but he's got to be your Game 3 starter. Orioles will go to try to clinch the AL East tonight as they open up the final regular season series of the year against the Red Sox. It is Dean Kramer on the mound against Chris Sale tonight, expecting a pretty significant crowd. It was a really good crowd last night, but I think tonight, knowing that if you win, you clinch, I'm expecting tonight to be somewhat packed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Me and my mom are going. So.
I'll be at Edgar Allan Poe.
Well,
I'll be
I'll
having
take
a great time.
I'll take a lot of notes.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate that. Send me some videos. You're spraying everybody down with champagne. Where he's like, how did Griffin get champagne into the game? Be a fun night. Be a fun night to be at the ballpark. Today's show brought to you by our friends at your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. I assume our next guest is an Orioles fan, but I don't know that. You never know when somebody's from here, and maybe the team wasn't very good when they were growing up. He, of course, now is having some great success and made a little bit of history over the weekend as he both was involved in a turnover defensively and caught a touchdown. You don't see that every day. He is Maryland linebacker and a Haverty Grace alum, Sean Greeley, and he is with us now here on GCR. Sean, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
Sean, are you an Orioles fan?
I am.
All right. So are you like, is this as meaningful? Like in the locker room, I'm sure there's a bunch of like Yankees fans and stuff like that. Are you getting a little trash talk in?
I feel like most people are stick to football, but there's a good spread within the locker room, yeah.
All right. So it's a good time. It's a good time to be able to enjoy it. It's a good time, obviously, to be at Maryland, too. That's the other thing that's going on right now at 4-0. Sean, this thing on Sunday, or on Saturday, I guess – I don't even know if you like thought about it in the moment, but like how cool it is and how much history you made becoming just the third player ever to both catch a touchdown and force a fumble in the same game. Did you have like a moment on the side where like, wow, this is really kind of neat?
It was definitely like a cool experience, but I didn't think that I was being put in that kind of regard, I guess. I had no idea.
So it's a really, obviously you find out, you're like, whoa, this is kind of historic. Sean, your story is so cool to me because you start as a walk-on and you have to put in the work. And I wonder if you ever like worried that it wasn't going to be worth it, that like the work was not going to match what you were going to get out of it. And did you ever consider going somewhere else, not continuing this path? Did you ever have moments where you thought, I don't know, man, this might not be really what I want to do?
Yeah, definitely. Being a walk-on, it's a big financial burden for any walk-on within a football program or any sport program for that matter. You got to pay for your own school, you got to pay for your own housing, all that, and it's definitely hard on the family of any walk-on. So I definitely thought about kind of stopping football just so I could, take that burden off my family. But at the end of the day, I guess I'm glad I stuck with it. It all worked out in the end. So
tell me about that, right? Like what made you continue your pursuit of this up until, again, a year ago, getting that news that you were going to get on a scholarship? Why didn't you walk away?
Well, I had multiple conversations with my mom about it, and every time she made it seem like, everything was fine and, just being a good mother. And so there was that, and also my teammates, just being around my teammates, I've made some great friendships throughout this team. They're they're my guys. They're like family. So it was hard to bring myself to walk away from all of that.
Yeah, Sean Greeley from the University of Maryland. They're getting ready to try to go 5-0 as they host Indiana on Saturday at 3:30. Sean, I wonder, a year, let's take me back to a year ago and the circumstances. Did you have any idea that you were getting your scholarship, and can you put into words what that moment meant to you?
I didn't really know. He had us just kind of stand up and tell us why we love football in front of the team, and so when it happened, I was completely in shock, and I got swarmed by my teammates. I actually ended up taking a helmet to the lips. So, yeah.
Hang on. Worth it though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely worth it.
Dude, that's such a cool thing, right? So afterwards, who did you call? What were your emotions like right after you get that news?
It was just like a surreal moment for me. It was I immediately called my mom, and told her, and she was in the same kind of state as well. She was just like in shock, like, because it came out of nowhere. It was after camp, right before the season started. So she was in shock, and then called my dad. He was kind of in the same. Everybody was kind of in the same emotional state there, just in shock and just happy, and I'm sure a big relief from their point of view as well.
Sean, did you grow up did Maryland matter to you a lot growing up here? Was it everybody says, well, hey, it's the local school, it's the state school, but there's a difference between places where everybody's watching every Saturday and places where they're like, yeah, Maryland, wake me up when they matter, right? Like, did you grow up rooting for Maryland, and was this a dream of yours to play at Maryland?
Yeah, it definitely was. My dad was a big Maryland fan. He always watched, no matter like what the situation was here, how we were doing. He's a big Maryland basketball fan as well. So I guess followed in his footsteps, and also, growing up, Maryland always had some of the best uniforms. So
that is true.
Role as well. But yeah, I definitely always dreamed of playing here, and it all worked out in the end for me.
Did that play a role in why you were willing to go through everything that you went through? Like, this was the dream that I've had since a kid, and so if this is what it takes in order to do it, I'm willing to do it?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't really have any desire to go anywhere else. I felt like I kind of felt like I just put all my eggs in one basket here and was just like, I'm all in on this. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I just kept my nose down, I guess, and just kept working, and it worked out.
So now what does it mean? Like, obviously it's not like you weren't playing. You were playing. You're getting involved. But to, like, be involved more as a defensive player, as an offensive player, to have that role increase this season, and now as a scholarship player, how much more significant does it mean for you to be living out this part of the dream?
Yeah, it's funny, like with the offensive reps, it just kind of happened over spring ball there. We had some people transfer out, and needed someone in the role, and they just asked if I wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, I think having the opportunity now to just play for, the university, my friends and family all enjoy watching me, and I'm grateful for that. They cheer me on, and I think that definitely keeps me going and gives me like a little more motivation than I had before.
It's really cool, man. Sean, we mentioned you guys are off to this 4-0 start and winning at Michigan State for the first time in forever, and there is a palpable buzz right now surrounding this program. How do you guys keep yourselves? Because on the outside, everybody's like, oh, they just go beat Indiana, and then they get the showdown with Ohio State. How do you guys prevent yourselves from looking ahead or thinking about anything other than we've got a job to do on this Saturday? That's all that we can worry about.
Yeah, we always put an emphasis on that. Our opponent has no name, no face. It's kind of just it's the next opponent, but it's the most important opponent. So we keep that same mindset going into every game, and it also helps that if we go, we haven't been 5-0, and I think I looked it up the other day since like 2001. So that's another little milestone to look forward to. So we're really just taking it one at a time there, thinking about those things.
No, I think it's amazing. Like, do you start to? I don't know. You guys had a lot of belief. In fact, let me go back for a second. When Coach Loxley started talking around the program and using the words Big Ten championship, what did that mean to you guys? Because as he made clear, it was something he hadn't done before. But what statement did that make to you guys, and how did it change your belief, your confidence, your focus going into this season and what it is that you all were capable of accomplishing?
Yeah, like you said, he never really mentioned championships before ever. It was never in the conversation. It was just a matter of one game at a time and playing towards our standard and how we, do your job. Just do your job, and like things will play out. And bringing that into the conversation this year, I think gave everyone an extra edge, put like a chip on their shoulder. We were kind of just cast aside in this conversation before, and now we're putting ourselves in the conversation since we've had some recent success. So I think it gives everyone a little extra boost and an extra reason why we're gonna play hard and take it to every team we play.
Would it be fair to say that you guys still are ready to put together your most complete performance of the season? At the beginning of the year we were kind of joking maybe the scoreboard needs to say 14-0 when the game begins, right? Maybe that should be the kickoff. But does it feel like, as good as you've played and building up this 4-0 record, that there still might be even another level that you can reach as far as a complete performance is concerned?
Yeah. In those first few games, we definitely we were starting slow. And I know Locke talked a lot about this. We got to learn to start faster this year. Starting off at a deficit doesn't help by any regard. So trying to start faster and then keep that same momentum going into the late game is really what we've been focusing on, especially going to Michigan State. We had a little more success there. So
No doubt, right? And it'd be great to go and put a tremendous performance together and get that confidence even more up as you head into that crazy part of the schedule that's coming up. Sean, I just wonder before we let you go that, it's still kind of a rare thing for kids from Harford County, right? Obviously, Deontay Banks, that worked out okay for him. He's doing all right for himself. But what part that aspect of this, that it's still not something very common to see, kids from Harford County having significant success at the highest level of college football. How important is that for you, representing Haverty Grace, representing that entire region, and doing something that still is not extraordinarily common to see?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I had a lot of support at Haverty Grace from my coaches. They all were always there for me. My Coach Lee in particular, he helped me get connected with Maryland and got me to he drove me to some camps. He helped me get around. I think it just shows that anything can really be done. Haverty Grace is 1A. It's a very small high school, but I feel like if you just put the work in, then you can do whatever you really put your mind to. So.
And do we officially declare now that you're a two-way guy? We have a guy in Baltimore, Pat Ricard, right? Project Pat, man. That guy spent years playing defensive line and would play fullback at the same time. And man, he split out and played tight end. He's played offensive line. Do we officially declare now that Sean Greeley is the next great two-way player that's going to take over the sport of football?
I don't know if we'll go as far as Pat Ricard, but I do what I can. So
Hey, man, it's got to be a thrill to catch like a touchdown. You scored a touchdown in a Big Ten football game, man. Like, it's got to be a really big deal for you.
Yeah, it was definitely a really cool moment, and it kind of felt like I got a whole nother scholarship. I got swarmed by my teammates again. It's really.
That's all. What'd you do with the ball? Who's got the ball?
I handed it to the ref, man.
No, you didn't. There's no way that you did that. They got to be able to go back and find it, right? They got to be able to go, or at least like give you a fake one and tell you it's the ball. Oh man. Oh, I'm sorry that it didn't. Like, did you kick yourself afterwards? Like, oh, how did I do that? Or was it just like, hey man, I'm a football player. I'm gonna act like I've been there before.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I guess it was kind of feel like I've been there before. I also was thinking like just don't do anything dumb, like drop the ball early or like something like that. Please just take the ball.
You know what? I can appreciate that, bro. I can appreciate it. Sean Greeley, it's such a cool story, man. So happy for you. I know it's Sean Greeley 12 on Twitter. Are you on Instagram that Maryland fans can give you a follow?
Yeah. It's at I am Sean Greeley.
At I am Sean Greeley. Sean, congratulations, dude. Best of luck this Saturday and moving forward this season. Look forward to seeing how this continues for you and your journey. Thank you for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sean Greeley, Maryland football. He didn't keep the ball. I can't believe that. He didn't keep the ball. Could you imagine? You've been a reserve linebacker, had to fight your way from a walk-on in order to get a scholarship.
Sounds like that's just who he is.
You get a touchdown and you don't keep the ball. Oh man. Oh God, I'd be kicking myself over there. That's cool.
He was very team first. He did not want to get a penalty.
Don't drop the ball before you're in the end zone. Just let it be over with, so I know that it happened.
Yeah.
Oh man, cool story for Sean Greeley. Maryland, Indiana, coming up this Saturday at 3:30, as Maryland tries to move to 5-0. Real shame that the Ohio State game isn't at home this year, because it'd be a great opportunity to try to, game day is going to Duke for the first time ever this week. There's only like three schools now. Because they got Kansas got there last year.
Yeah.
Duke's getting there this year.
And then is it Syracuse?
That sounds right.
Syracuse and Maryland.
Schools that have never hosted college game day. Cal.
Okay, well.
Yeah, Cal has never hosted game day. Illinois has never hosted game day. Rutgers and Syracuse are the other one. Oh, Virginia. Virginia is the other one.
6.
Cal, Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers, Syracuse, Virginia. Yeah, 6. 6 the power conference schools. And I'm assuming that doesn't count the teams that moved into the Big 12 yet. Like I know that Cincinnati has hosted game day. I could see Houston maybe having. Actually, maybe all of them have hosted game day before, the schools that moved into the Big 12. I'm not sure. All right. Great stuff with Sean Greeley. Appreciate that. Today's show also brought to you by Superbook. Use the code GlennClark23 when you sign up with Superbook, and you will get a same-day first bet match up to $250, win or lose. And that can be used, say, when we make our picks later in this show. And you could say, these guys are idiots. I'm going to pick every game the opposite of Griffin because he went 2-6 last week.
Yeah, but the week, but I was in first place.
You were until last week. Last week would have been a good week to bet against, to tail Griffin. I maybe wouldn't bet either way with me because I've been 500 for like 3 straight weeks. At the beginning of the year, I was struggling. Now I've been settling into a nice 500 rhythm. Just bad when you're under 500. You got to try to get to the other side.
You're clear
somehow.
For now.
But if you want to take those picks and use them to make your bets, superbook.com or download the Superbook app. Same day, first bet match up to $250, win or lose when you sign up with Superbook. By the way, if Maryland somehow were to shock Ohio State, then maybe like Penn State, that would be their hope for hosting game day. But they would, I don't see it. All right, when we come back in,
what do you mean?
It would be amazing. It would be just the greatest thing in the world. But boy, I don't know. When we come back in, Ian Eagle. Speaking of the greatest thing in the world, every time we get to talk to Ian Eagle, it's the greatest thing in the world. He's on the call for Ravens Browns Sunday. He's next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. The Baltimore County Police Department is now hiring with competitive salaries, including for experienced police officers, starting salaries between over $68,000 and over $82,000 based on your prior service time, accepting up to 7 years of service times with only 6 weeks in the academy, minimum of 2 years prior experience. And police cadet starting salaries at over $32,000 must be between the ages of 18 and 20, but you can apply starting at 17 and a half. Must have a high school diploma or GED equivalent at the time of the hire, U.S. citizen at the time of the hire, and a valid driver's license. So if you have a passion for service and want a career for life, now is the time to join the Baltimore County Police Department. Call 410-887-5542 or visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
All aboard! The Orioles train keeps on moving, and it's ahead of schedule. The Birds are motoring towards a playoff run here in 2023 as their magic number keeps getting smaller and smaller. I'm Paul Valley, and you can find me along with Zach Goodman every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here on the Bat-Around. We'll navigate you through the playoff push as the Orioles look to put an exclamation point on what is turning out to be the best season of the last 40 years. So join us on the Orioles train, and let's enjoy the ride together right here on the Bat-Around.
Visit Harford County this fall. Celebrate arts across Harford September 15th through the 30th with dance, theater, music, and visual arts. September 29th through October 1st is the largest Italian festival in Maryland, featuring entertainment, cooking demonstrations, a bocce tournament, and family fun. If you're headed to the Maryland 5-Star, stay and play in Harford County. While you're there, enjoy the scenic views atop the King and Queen seats and experience pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and fall brews along their Harford Libation Trail. For more info, head to visitharford.com. Maryland open.
Picking a restaurant to try for the first time? Let's look at the Costas Inn. Here's a few checklist items. Quality of the food? Check. Quality of service? Check. Does restaurant have plenty of free parking? Check. And finally, does restaurant have delicious steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup, and specials galore? Check, check, check. Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. They check all the boxes.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka dives into what's next for Lamar Jackson after receiving one of the biggest contracts in football history. Is Lamar ready to take the Ravens to the next level, now with a new offensive coordinator and new wide receivers? Also inside, we look at what new football coaches Brian Newberry and Pete Shinnick bring to Navy and Towson, respectively. And we meet players from the college football and soccer programs around the state. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Come for a game, stay for everything else. Book an unforgettable fall getaway in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouthwatering eats, and endless entertainment. Treat yourself to a staycation in the heart of downtown, or try one of the city's many charming neighborhood hotels. And don't miss out on packages for free parking, breakfast, and more. Plan your stay at baltimore.org/hotels.
Don't forget about Project Game Day after every Ravens game this season. It's kind of like this show, except Rita's also there, so I actually think it's pretty good. But hey, you're already here now, so why don't you go ahead and keep listening to GCR.
We're going to wrap today's show by chatting, or by having you listen to segment number 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show with special guest Michael Pierce. And it's a little bit weird because normally we do the show every other week, and I think the story was we were trying to avoid doing a show the week of the London game, and we needed to stagger it so we're doing it after they got back from. I don't remember exactly what the thought process was here, but we're doing back-to-back weeks of the Tyus Bowser show. So we had a show this past Tuesday, and now we're going to have another show this coming Tuesday when we will be back at Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North. The Orioles aren't going to be playing on Tuesday night. There's going to be nothing to distract you. It's going to be a great night to come out with Tyus and his special guest, hang out with your favorite players. We'll be talking football, talking life, Tyus, and a special guest Tuesday night. Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North. Come join us for the next Tyus Bowser show. You can find out more by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. It's all brought to you by HelpMyGamblingProblem.org and Superbook Sports. Tyus Bowser show is a partnership of PressBox and Grade 8's Memorabilia. We had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his schedule and getting ready for Sunday's game, but it's always a thrill to catch up with the great Iron Eagle right here on GCR. I always get very happy whenever I see the schedule of announcers for the week and I notice that the Ravens game will have this man on the call, and he will be on the call Sunday. As the Ravens take on the Browns on CBS, he is the great Iron Eagle, and he is back with us once again here on GCR. Ian, it's Glenn. It is always good to hear your voice, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for taking the time for us.
We meet again, Mr. Glenn Clark.
Oh, man.
You know what time of year it is. We got Ravens football. We've got intrigue. We've got question marks. But also have a really talented team if they can get healthy and get themselves back to square one, in which they thought they were going to have a highly competitive team. But, got to get the guys back on the field to see it.
It's funny, Ian, because after the game in Cincinnati, in Baltimore, we were like, all right, let's go ahead and see what hotel prices are going to cost in Las Vegas and how much we're going to be price gouged, and we were very excited. I've had this sort of weird reaction after the loss to the Colts, and I don't know if you looked at video and the conversations that you've had yet. As disappointing and deflating and sort of unfathomable as it was to lose at home to the Colts, it really came off more like this is just one of those weird days in the NFL where if you have enough injuries and enough kind of goofy things occur, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Indianapolis and how hard they played, but it required some bad calls, a questionable decision to not take a timeout, make sure you get the fair catch off and run some time. It took a lot of bizarre circumstances. I'm less convinced that what happened is really a story about us getting too excited about the Ravens and more just sort of an anomaly, a la the Colts beating the Chiefs a year ago that doesn't really tell us a story about that team that lost.
Yeah, I think you're going to hit January and maybe think back and say, wow, what a wasted opportunity that was. Should have been in the win column. So as you're jockeying for position, whether it's to win the division, whether it's to make a wild card, whatever it might be, it's the kind of game that sticks with you a little bit because it had to go down exactly how it did in order to lose. It just felt like they couldn't get to the finish line. And despite the injuries, despite the setbacks, it was still all lined up to go to 3-0. And you start looking at stats, obviously, during the week. They haven't been 3-0 since 2016. And that's a long time for a high-quality franchise. You would just think somewhere along the way you'd stumble into 3-0 based on schedule or Lamar just going on a ridiculous run to open the season. How telling is that? I don't know. It's, again, one of those situations that if you watch the game, then you have added context. If you didn't, then it just stands out like a sore thumb. How did you lose to the Colts? But there's a little bit more texture there once you go through the play-by-play and the decision-making and the clock management and the circumstances and the blown calls. You can understand how it actually came about.
That's the way I felt, and that's why I'm not too worked up about it, and I think it matters these next couple of weeks, and that'll tell us a greater story. And I feel like this is still a team, and especially as it looks like they're going to have some of the guys back this week. There are a lot of guys back on the practice field. As long as that continues to trend this week, that'll be good news for the Ravens. It still feels to me like on paper this is one of the better teams in the AFC and one of the teams that's going to have I mean, I don't know. Right now, at the moment, it looks like Miami might be better than the undefeated Miami team a few years ago, right? Like, I'm not sure, but it just feels like that if they are healthy, and I get that that's what a lot of people are saying around the NFL, but if they get these guys back, there's still every reason to believe that they are among the top contenders in the AFC.
Yeah, the things that I would look at, if you try to view what the Ravens have been and what they've been missing, they have been able to actually improve in certain areas that had to get better. They needed an electric wide receiver. They get one in Zay Flowers. Odell Beckham, obviously, is not what he once was, but if healthy, he's still going to be a threat and someone you have to game plan against. If this offensive line is healthy, you feel good about this group up front. Stanley and Linderbaum are excellent. The left guard position, that's probably going to be a work in progress. Defensively, they paid Roquan Smith a lot of money. They needed him.
Mm-hmm.
They needed that type of player.
Mm-hmm.
They needed someone to inject this unit with energy. They're using Kyle Hamilton perfectly. They have found exactly what he does and what he does well. And the fact that he's a ferocious hitter, the fact that he's an excellent blitzer, all of that is showing up on film. And I think they're still going to generate enough pass rush when it's all said and done. They've had to go the veteran route based on injuries, based on maybe missing a bit in the draft over the last several years. But they've done it. They found a guy every year to fill a certain role, and they're hoping to do the same thing this time around with Clowney, and we'll see if Van Noy has a big role in this defense. My point being, look around the AFC, Glenn. It's imperfect. And I went in, like a lot of people, looking at the AFC before the season started thinking, man, it's really deep.
Yeah, it's murderer's row.
Somebody that's of high quality is going to be left out of the party once the postseason begins. And now here we are, just 3 weeks in. It's not like we're 6 weeks, 7 weeks in. 3 weeks in, you can tell that there is a very clear separation between the good teams and the teams that are still trying to figure it out, and all the things that could go wrong have gone wrong for certain teams. So I put Baltimore in the classification of a really good team, and if things go the way that they're supposed to go, they're going to be in the mix.
Ian Eagle with us on GCR. He and Charles Davis and Evan Washburn on the call Sunday for Ravens-Browns on CBS. Ian, a couple things related to the Ravens. The first being, I don't know that we've learned everything there is to learn about the Todd Monken offense. There have been moments where we have been extraordinarily enamored. Last week was tough, but again, injuries, weather conditions, not sure what to say. What have you gotten a sense of just in preparing and what you think is different and what you're excited about maybe to see as this continues evolving? They didn't play at all in the preseason. They're still probably putting things and elements into this offense.
Yes. Yeah. Look, it's a small sample size, so I would hate to make these across-the-board proclamations of what's changed, what's different. To me, to the naked eye, I can't tell you that this is just markedly different. Where it does stand out, they're going more three wides than they have. Last year, 3 wide receiver formations, Glenn, 14% of the time. This year so far, 64%, even without Beckham. That's a huge number in changing your philosophy. Lamar's still running a bunch because he had to. I think there's still the innate part of Lamar Jackson. If the team needs him to make something happen, he knows he can by getting out and getting a first down or creating a play to galvanize the team. And that's where we get into the gray area. You still want him to be who he is. The concerns, and I think part of the reason why the change was made for probably myriad of reasons, but part of the reason was long-term. What's sustainable? How do you keep him healthy while still winning? And that's the age-old question for any of these running quarterbacks that are successful and have to make adjustments as time goes on. So, again, small sample size. I don't want to go on record saying that it's so different, and I don't want to go on record as saying that it's basically the same. I think it's still yet to be determined how this is going to look once we hit week 8, week 10, week 12, get deeper into the season, and we'll look at the numbers too. The numbers are going to tell a big story, but just even watching the games, you get a feel for what the team is doing differently and how they're approaching things week in, week out.
I wonder, I don't know what element of this you guys talk about on the broadcast on Sunday, Ian, because in town this week there was a lot of criticism for Lamar and his performance against the Colts, and I look on paper and I say, well, he completed 70% of his passes and he was responsible for 300 yards of offense, and yes, the the one turnover in particular is unacceptable, and taking the sack late was killer, and you have to criticize those things. But it was interesting to me because I kept saying, I don't know why we're using words like he was terrible or he was awful. And it was presented to me, well, look, he's making $50 million now. Like, when you do that, you're going to be measured in different ways. Like, you don't just get to be good. You have to be kind of otherworldly to be worth that money that you're paid. And it's such an interesting concept because it is a fact that we have and we know, and there is impact to that. But I don't know. It's not like he's different. He's not a different player on the field from the last time we saw him last season to this year. And I don't know if, because it obviously was such a major storyline this offseason, it's something that you talk about. Do you measure now Lamar Jackson by the standard of being a $50 million quarterback?
Yeah, I think there are two things that happen in sports, in particular NFL, NBA, somewhat MLB, and NHL, but more so in the other two sports. First part is where you're drafted. Expectation level based on where you're drafted. Happens all the time in the NBA.
Yep.
There are guys that have had 10, 12, 13-year successful careers, but they were taken 1, 2, 5, 9, 11 overall. And it doesn't measure up to what you thought they were supposed to be. But if they were taken 37 with the same career, you'd say, man,
yep,
excellent player.
Yep.
Really impressed by what he did during his time in the NBA. NFL, obviously, just take the New York Jets situation, and it's one of many. When you're taken that high, you're Zach Wilson, you're a quarterback, you are expected to be a player. You're not someone that gets a long leash. You're not someone that can make mistake after mistake after mistake or have subpar performances where there's going to be a whole lot of wiggle room for the general public, the fans, and oftentimes management, coaching, to not say, okay, this isn't working. Jets obviously are in a very unique situation. They were not prepared at that position beyond Aaron Rodgers to have someone step in and give off the same kind of vibe that they're going to be just fine, and they're going through it right now. The second part that happens is when you get paid a ton of money.
Yep.
And things do change. It's just natural. We have that in our normal everyday life with people that we know. You find out that someone you went to high school with is doing extremely well in life.
Yeah.
And then you see them for the first time, like, man, wow, they seem different. Yeah, it's called success, and it's called how you're perceived. You might be the same person, by the way. Lamar's the same person. You would know better than me, and
Absolutely.
we'll obviously meet with him, and I'll report back.
Every layer of him seems to be exactly the same, Ian.
Yeah, I don't think anything about him probably changes in day-to-day life, except his check is a lot larger. He has generational wealth now. He was very wealthy prior to this, but now we're talking about a different level of wealth. But he's the same guy. People may view him differently, and that's where it gets interesting, the psychology of this. So I understand it. I get it. I've seen it all of these years in all the major sports. Ultimately, Lamar Jackson, he's a star. There's no denying that. Now, what ends up happening in a Ravens uniform? Does he ever fulfill the dream, which is Super Bowl and multiple MVP awards and winning on the biggest stage at the highest level? I don't know. That's That's why sports keeps bringing us back every single day, because the mystery of it is what fuels it.
On the flip side, Sunday, Ian, the Browns appear to, I think we can use the word ascending. They certainly defensively, they have been unbelievable to start the year.
Yes.
It's just always difficult for me. You know, it's still only a 3-game sample size that we're talking about. So when do we know definitively that this Browns defense, of course, led by a Baltimore guy in Jim Schwartz, do we know that they are really this good, or do they still have to like get that sample size a little bit deeper for us to be certain that they are, you know, amongst the best defenses in football?
Well, I mean, they certainly have a swagger right now, and they've bought into Jim Schwartz and what he was selling during the offseason. We had that game week 1, so Charles and Evan and I were in Cleveland for their very resounding win over Cincinnati. Now, we later figured out that Joe Burrow right now is not the same guy physically, and Cincinnati finally got out of the gate with a win, but Cleveland looked really sharp, and defensively they were outstanding that game. They have since lost Nick Chubb, a huge hit to their offense. They feel like they can get by with a running back by committee mentality. They did not play well in week 2. So whatever goodwill that was built up in week 1 was quickly erased in week 2, and then back in week 3, where you say, wow, that was really lopsided. That was nearly historic in what they did defensively against Tennessee, to allow 94 yards of offense in the NFL when you have garbage time in the fourth quarter, when you just presume, all right, they'll pick up 75 yards just throwing the ball short. And it didn't happen. So it does speak to their improved roster. I don't know with Watson. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if what you saw last week is it. Like this is what it's going to be the rest of the way. He has yet to show that he can do it week in and week out. It was a good sign. It was a good start, but you have to put things in perspective. And the majority of what he did last week in that victory, short throws.
Yep.
Screens, a lot of gadget plays. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get creative. They're using Elijah Moore in a creative fashion. They're mixing and matching their running backs. Cooper is legit. He's always been legit. He's a great route runner. I'm curious if they work in Njoku a little bit more. He's been fairly quiet, and they thought he was going to have a serious breakout year statistically. So to answer your question in the most roundabout way possible, incomplete.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know yet.
No, but this feels really important on Sunday now. This feels like this is an opportunity for the Browns to assert themselves and say, hey, we might be the team to beat in the division. Whereas the Ravens, after they already kind of conquered the Bengals, they now all of a sudden are faced with another really unique task. All right, before I let you go, obviously I thought blank space was perfect, right? Like you were doing the first game after the rumor started, you were doing the first game. Can we now say it's dead, like it's been killed, everybody's done it, it's time to maybe have broadcasters, like there's no creative Taylor Swift reference that can be made moving forward. Everybody's gotten to all of them. We got to move on from it.
I'm willing to sign something to that effect, Glenn. I have no problem signing a document stating I do not want to hear Taylor Swift puns for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody else.
No.
But that's coming from somebody that got in very early.
Yep.
And I recognize that if you're going to do it early and then don't do it again.
Yeah, right. It's done now. It's been done. We've got it. It was clever. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Now it's everywhere, and I'm over it. Is there any – I don't think Beckham's going to play on Sunday, but if he were to, there are some rumors. There's no chance that, like, if Beckham were to play and were to keep catch a deep touchdown, you'd maybe say they're having a hard time keeping up or making some sort of Kardashian reference?
Yeah, I wouldn't put that beneath me.
Okay.
That's very much,
right.
very much in my wheelhouse.
So much.
Please don't put me on a pedestal that I would possibly think I'm above, something like that. I'm not.
I would love that so much. That would be so great. Ian Eagle, I mean it when I say I love you, brother, and I'm always appreciative. It never is lost on me how good you've been to me over the years. Thank you, sir. Look forward to Sunday, and really appreciate you spending the time with us.
Yeah, ditto, Glenn. Always great to talk to you, bud. We'll do it again.
It's the great Ian Eagle spending time with us, and maybe be on the lookout for that. Odell Beckham, don't know if he's going to play, but if he were, and he were to score a touchdown, perhaps, they can't keep up with him. And we get it.
Yeah.
We'd get it. We'd all know exactly what he was referring to. Yeah, we got to end the Taylor Swift stuff. She's going to go to the game. She is going to go to the game again on Sunday. We got to end the Taylor Swift stuff. It's just, it's been beaten down. Like, it was fine. Again, when Ian did it, it made all the sense in the world, right? It was before we even knew for sure that it was real. It was still this, like, curiosity that we had.
I'm sure Ian knew.
Yes, because he had the inside information. Yes. Now we've been beat over the head with it. And the 8,000th person is like, look how clever I am. I said we're never getting back together because it was an interception. It's over. It's over. You missed out.
I think Collinsworth will have something
That's
good.
embarrassing. That would be very embarrassing if they're still trying to.
He'll have
like,
something good.
Like and like the wink, wink, nudge. Like, no, it's done. It's done. It's been done. Everybody else already did it. It's over now. It's not unique. It's not clever. It's not interesting. You get a very short amount of time where you're like, okay, well done. And then moving on. Something else. Anything else. Ian Eagle is correct. It is time to move on. Hour number 1 of today's show is in the books. We're moving on.
Because we're never, ever getting back together?
Really, really gross. I'm not sure what Stan's plans are. I think that might have been changed based on I do know what Stan's plans are. He is going to have a conversation with Jeff Newman from the Maryland 5-Star, president and CEO. And you're going to be able to see that later on today at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. So you will want to check that out tonight ahead of the Orioles game. When we come back in, we'll make our picks for the week. Ken Zalis joins us. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio. Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Maryland drivers, did you know you can save up to 77% on tolls with an Easy Pass Maryland discount plan? That's right, 77%. It's never been easier. Pick the plan that's right for you at driveezmd.com. We'll keep you moving.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, October 3rd at Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North. It's brought to you by Superbook Sports. And don't forget, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, visit helpmygamblingproblem.org.
It's a Maryland thing. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org.
It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
The Baltimore County Police Department is now hiring with competitive salaries, including for experienced police officers, starting salaries between over $68,000 and over $82,000 based on your prior service time, accepting up to 7 years of service times with only 6 weeks in the academy, minimum of 2 years prior experience. And police cadet starting salaries at over $32,000 must be between the ages of 18 and 20, but you can apply starting at 17 and a half. Must have a high school diploma or GED equivalent at the time of the hire, U.S. citizen at the time of the hire, and a valid driver's license. So if you have a passion for service and want a career for life, now is the time to join the Baltimore County Police Department. Call 410-887-5542 or visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com.
Picking a restaurant to try for the first time? Let's look at the Costas Inn. Here's a few checklist items. Quality of the food? Check. Quality of service? Check. Does restaurant have plenty of free parking? Check. And finally, does restaurant have delicious steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup, and specials galore? Check, check, check. Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. They check all the boxes.
Visit Harford County this fall. Celebrate Arts Across Harford September 15th through the 30th with dance, theater, music, and visual arts. September 29th through October 1st is the largest Italian festival in Maryland, featuring entertainment, cooking demonstrations, a bocce tournament, and family fun. If you're headed to the Maryland 5-Star, stay and play in Harford County. While you're there, enjoy the scenic views atop the King and Queen seats and experience pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and fall brews along their Harford Libation Trail. For more info, head to visitharford.com. Maryland open.
What company has the expertise to make your home healthier by purifying your air and killing all viruses, allergens, and bacteria? A.J. Michaels, Heating and Air Conditioning in Baltimore and Annapolis, ajmichaels.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Sure, Glenn may be in his 40s now, but he looks just as good as he ever has, and he's still as sharp as he ever was. And I say both those things without even a shred of irony. Find out for yourself right now by watching the show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports or youtube.com/PressBoxOnline.
A real mixed bag in the injury report yesterday for the Baltimore Ravens. Good news, of course. Tyler Linderbaum back on the practice field. Ronnie Stanley back on the practice field. Marcus Williams back on the practice field. Gus Edwards, a full participant, so he has been cleared from concussion protocol. The bad news, still no Rashad Bateman, still no Odell Beckham, still no Justice Hill, still no Marlon Humphrey, no David Ajabo, no Odafe Owe. And even Kyle Hamilton added did not participate with a back injury. So, yuck. You have no edge rushers. You made a safety your edge rusher, and now he's out too. Total mixed bag when it comes to the injury report. We'll see how it progresses throughout the course of the week. Joining us now, it's time for us to make some picks. This man, I love him. I respect him. But he could not have been more wrong about a certain opinion on Sunday during the Project Game Day postgame show. He is our friend Ken Zalis, and he's back with us on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I don't like the word more.
Well,
I mean, you can tell me I was wrong.
Well, you
but
couldn't.
More wrong is my problem.
Oh, what's wrong? What do you have with more wrong? You could have been more wrong because you could have said.
You're
saying it.
Levels,
if you're suggesting, right?
Wrong.
You could have suggested they should have punted on third down, and that would have been more wrong. All right, I'll listen to that. I'll listen to that argument. It was so wrong. Ball hit Isaiah Likely right in the chest. Oh man! All right, buddy. How are you doing? Everything good?
I'm great.
Am I playing?
It's been a good week.
Am I playing Devon Achane this week?
I mean, you sort of have to, don't you?
I'm in a weird place with it.
Yeah, I am too, but here's what I'm going back to with him. he was on the field for the first snap in that game. So it wasn't like some people will kind of throw away the game altogether. It was a horrible day, and at a certain point, they were just stacking the line, and as soon as you got past the first defense, both him and Mozart were just gone and running free. I think they had a plan for him, and they used him right away from jump. They didn't put him in after they were up 14-0. They didn't put him in, in garbage time. He was very active from the start. I think you play him.
Okay.
He was.
Let me give you some.
One of those things.
Let me give you some options.
Give me some options.
Okay. Would you play him over DJ Moore?
Absolutely. DJ Moore has a horrible matchup this week.
Oh, because he's going to be matched up with Surtain?
Correct.
Okay. All right. I didn't even think about that. I'll give it that. I was actually just thinking because he's a Chicago Bear. That was what I was thinking.
Look. We don't, as we saw last week, close to home, it's a week-to-week league.
That is true. Yes.
You have to, in fantasy, you have to play matchups a little bit. Like if I had a better option than Mike Evans on my bench this week, I know you don't want to ever bench him, but he's horrible against Lattimore.
All right,
just historically. So you gotta take this stuff into play a little bit.
All right. Am I playing him over Brian Robinson?
No.
Am I playing him over Isaiah Pacheco?
Yes.
Okay. Am I playing Pacheco or Dobbs then?
Pacheco or who?
Romeo Dobbs.
Oh, ooh. I would actually play. I don't like Pacheco against the Jets at all.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. The Jets. Look, everybody can look at how bad the Jets have been, but it hasn't been because of the defense overall.
That's fair.
They're just on the field constantly. You saw a lot more of McKinnon last week. You saw a little bit more of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I just don't think the volume's there yet with Pacheco week in and week out. And against the Jets, I'd rather play Dobbs. I think Dobbs has looked really good.
All right, so then I'm assuming I'm playing Thielen over Hollywood Brown, right?
Yeah, Thielen's got a great matchup this week, and it's a revenge game.
So then am I playing Brown or Dobbs would be the final one?
I like Dobbs over Brown.
Okay.
I feel like I should cut this off because I realize now that you're going against me in this.
Oh, good. I'm glad this worked out well for me. This is great news. This has worked out really well.
KZ, I went heavy on Christian Watson where I could. He's going to play tonight, so do I have to play him? You don't have
to. I'm in a similar situation in some leagues where I'm going to. I'm really, and I've always been this way, and Glenn can tell you, I'm really hesitant to bring guys right into my lineup coming off of a hamstring.
Right.
Because they're always a risk to re-aggravate. And, it's not, you're not getting the Christian Watson this week that we saw at the end of last year. So if you have an option that's playing well in a plus matchup, I can still sit Watson this week. I just don't think a lot of teams are able to do that.
I would go Judy or Josh Palmer.
Judy has a great matchup.
Yeah.
So I don't mind going Judy. He's a little hit or miss. Palmer's a weird one for me because I really don't know. He wasn't very good last year when he was the number one guy when both Allen and Williams were out. Being the number two or number three benefits him a little bit more, but he was so disappointing when given the opportunity last year. I'm a little hesitant with him.
All right. Yeah. All right. Very good. You can get no more help. That's the list of things you can get from Ken Zalis. Now it's time for us to make our picks. Picks are brought to you this week by Superbook. So take these picks. That's where all the odds come from is Superbook. So if you hear any number here that you say, wow, that smells really interesting to me, well, then run right over to Superbook.com or download the Superbook app. Make up to a $250 same-day first bet, and you will get it matched win or lose if you use the code Glenn Clark 23 when you sign up. That's Glenn Clark, GLENNCLARK, Glenn Clark 23 when you sign up. So a wrinkle added to our picks contest this week. Going into the week, KZ has moved back in front. He is sits at 20-15 on the season. He's one game in front of Andrew Stetka. Can you believe those? I'm saying those words. He's one game in front of Andrew Stetka at the top of the table. Griffin, Nick Kelly, Kyle Ottenheimer, all 2 games back. Myself, Ryan Chell, 4 games back. John and Little Rock, 5 games back. John Proctor and Paul Valley currently at the bottom of the table, 6 games back. But they actually have a 14-game lead in the race to avoid last place. Because out of nowhere, from the top rope, 5 weeks into our contest, swinging his you-know-what around, Jeremy Kahn says, I want in. And I say, well, that's weird. And we do the math, and he says it's not going to be about just total wins. Jeremy Kahn, if he finishes, despite the fact that he is 14 behind already, if he finishes the year with fewer total wins than whoever finishes in last place from our group, he will be the loser. He will have to come in here one morning and do all of the things that we talked about. Of course, he will have to consume the blood sausage, haggis, and tripe, wash it down with a Will Levis-style Irish coffee, take an Irish dance lesson, perform said Irish dance, and sing both Nothing Compares to You and Zombie for our enjoyment. If Jeremy somehow overtakes Ken at the top of the table, or whoever would finish in first place, he would be the winner with the most wins. So that's what it's come down to. Jeremy Kahn throws his name in the hat. I don't know if we've had time to adjust the table in order to reflect it just yet. I know that's difficult work. We will work on that when we can. So, 3 college games, 6 NFL games as always. Griffin, where do we begin this week?
We begin in College Park as the Indiana Hoosiers.
By the way, Ken Zalis, if you were a betting man right now, will Jeremy overcome this deficit?
If I was a betting man, I'd probably bet on Jeremy.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that.
You know.
I understand that.
I mean, you would think 5 weeks in, with me with 20 wins, I would feel good.
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
I just don't. And I mean, it's pretty arrogant of Jeremy, but as good of a friend as he is to us.
Yeah.
You know, over the years, you know, but no, I don't feel good about it. I'm kind of upset about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, let's get into it. First college game.
Indiana at Maryland. Maryland favored by 14.5.
That damn hook.
Yeah.
That goddamn hook.
It's on Big Ten Network at 3:30 Saturday, by the way.
Griffin and I saw that number at the beginning of the week. We're like, 14? Let's race over right now to superbook.com. This is the same feeling that I had a week ago where, like, I'm still not confident in Maryland. They still didn't put together 4 consistent quarters against Michigan State on Saturday. And it's nice to be able to, say those things when Maryland's winning games comfortably. It's a different standard. But Indiana's dreadful. Like, they're atrocious. They had to go 4 overtimes to beat Akron. And they still only scored 29 total points in 4 overtimes.
Akron had a chance to win it in regulation. And
it's insanity. I'm going to regret it. The number's too big, but I have to take Maryland because Indiana's dreadful.
Yeah, they are dreadful. But
just go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't. I'm not doing it 2 weeks in a row.
I don't know if you remember, you got the point last week. It's not like you got burnt by it.
I didn't feel good about it. It felt bad.
I mean,
it
felt bad because you won? I'm so confused by this. They lost to Louisville, who stinks. The only other win is against their only other win was against Indiana State, who I didn't know had a football program. God. What's everybody else doing?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I think it's just about as much as it is about Indiana being bad. I do like Maryland a lot, and Sean Greeley said they want to be 5-0 for the first time since 2001.
Of course they do, but that doesn't mean they're going to cover 14.5.
I think it does. Think it does. Yeah, I'll take the Terps to win pretty big by a couple scores again. So I'm on Maryland. On Indiana will be Ken Zalis. Jeremy Kahn will be backing the Hoosiers.
Ooh, that's not good news for me.
And then Dr. Nick Kelly.
I feel good.
Oh, yeah, I bet you do.
Three backers of Indiana, Nick, Ken, and Jeremy.
Oh, my. I don't like it the Jeremy's on the list. I don't like that at all. That's not good news. That's the new way that we're going to reflect our picks. It's now.
He can be wrong.
I might need to have Griffin start sending me his picks before he gets Jeremy's, so I don't start to believe that he's just copying Jeremy's picks.
Well, I went against him.
I understand
right away
that. I'm just realizing that might be the way that things have to go moving forward.
Moving on, also in the 3:30 window on ABC, number 24, the number 24 ranked Kansas Jayhawks travel to Texas.
Yeah, this is a weird big game.
Yeah, number 3 ranked Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns are favored by 16.5.
Which I get, right? But, like, at the same time, this is still the era of Texas football where you're expecting the other shoe to drop at some point. And it's a big number. Going over what Kansas has done this season. Kansas beat Missouri State. They beat Illinois. They beat Nevada. They beat BYU. It's not like Kansas has done anything spectacular, but they've clearly been building something under Lance Leopold. 16.5 is the number. God, I want to bite so bad on this. I want to bite it, but I can't. Give me Texas.
You know, somebody is going to listen to the first part of our 3 picks and wonder what the date is, because this sounds like basketball picks.
Right.
We're picking against Indiana, Kansas.
Yeah, right.
We're going to get to Duke in a minute.
It is
weird.
weird.
Oh, my God. And they're all double-digit points.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I'm not taking a basketball school against Texas.
I know, but it's 16.5.
So
that's the part that I'm struggling
care.
with.
I don't care. They have it. Kansas is that team that everybody, because they were so bad for so long, is that nice story, and everybody wants to believe that they're here, but it's too early. They're a year ahead. It's not happening. They're not going to Texas and keeping this close. This is a blowout.
For the record, Texas came to Kansas and won 55-14 a year ago. So,
yes, Kansas remembers that, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Kansas remembers that.
Oh,
I'm buying into the hype. I like Kansas. I'm going to take them getting 16.5 on the road in Texas. Whatever. I'll take it. I'll take it. Go Jayhawks. So I'm backing Kansas. I'm not alone, surprisingly, as John in Little Rock chimes in, complaining that once again we are another week without an SEC matchup, but we have Texas right here, John. So
yeah, Texas is an SEC school.
Yes.
Not sure if you heard.
SEC mainstay.
Yeah,
Texas.
right. Big SEC powerhouse, Texas.
He is back in Kansas. John in Little Rock is, as well as Ryan Shell. So that is the 3, myself, Ryan, and John in Little Rock.
And we would point out that Texas already went on the road and beat Alabama, but we're not sure that Alabama's any good. So I'm not really sure how valuable that win is, if I'm being honest with you.
Moving on to another basketball matchup, the number 11 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish are traveling to Durham to take on number 17 Duke Blue Devils. That's at 7:30.
This is where
also.
College Game Day will be for the first time ever on Saturday. What's the line?
Duke +6. Duke is getting 6 at home, so the Fighting Irish favored.
I thought that spread would be bigger.
In favor of Notre Dame?
Yeah, I really did. I thought they'd be favored by more than a touchdown there. So, obviously, there's some reaction here. Duke, of course, stunned Clemson. But as you'll remember, it was one of those, super weird anomaly games where, Clemson statistically was much better and got into the red zone a bunch of times and just didn't come away with points in various different ways. Notre Dame didn't look great, and they lost a big game, and you would say, Glenn, if your theory is that Notre Dame never wins a big game, then shouldn't you be picking against Notre Dame here? I'm sorry. I think Duke's being overinflated by – it'd be like me declaring Ohio State, Maryland to be a big game next week.
Well, it is, yeah.
For Maryland. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think Notre Dame bounces back, and I got Notre Dame covering.
Yeah, I think this is 37-3 coming. I don't see it. I know it's a nice story. Again, I'm not picking Duke in a football game. Give me Notre Dame. It's only 6, so I feel like Vegas is just begging us all to take Notre Dame, and they know something. Because I agree with Glenn. I think this would be so much higher, but I'll take Notre Dame. Can we do something fun real quick?
Yeah.
What do you think the spread is next week if Maryland wins this week?
If Maryland wins this week, they are still
24-point
I
underdogs.
was gonna say 21.5. I was gonna say 21.5 point dogs.
Okay.
Why? What do you
I
think?
was going to go somewhere. No, I was going to go somewhere around 20, 21. So,
Yeah. They're right in the same area.
It's got like 45-24.
Although
written all
you know,
over it.
remember they played a very close game a year ago in
They played
college.
great.
Yeah.
I am going to be taking. I mean, game day's there for the first time. I think Duke is a good team, and I think Notre Dame's a good team too. But they could still win. But I think if they do win, it'll be very, very close. I don't see 37-3 at all. So I will be backing the Dukies in this one. And I'm not alone, but I don't have many on my side. On Notre Dame as well as Nick Kelly, who as he refers, as Glenn once said, Notre Dame is just not losing to Duke.
Yeah, that's right. Nick Kelly still remembers the year that Maryland did lose to Duke in football. Drew and I were doing a pick segment on Friday morning, and I said, "Dude, I don't care what you say. They're not losing to Duke in football."
And
they did.
Oh.
I don't remember what year this would have been, like 09, something like that, 08, 09, somewhere in there. And it lived eternally. Like that, dude, I don't care what you say. They're not
Man, I gotta
losing
find that to pull that
Duke.
one.
My God, if that audio still exists somewhere, it became a regular part. Good pull, Nick Kelly. Good pull. Who else? Quickly.
On Duke is myself, Paul Valley, which I don't feel great about, but Jeremy Kahn is backing
no.
Duke.
Oh, no.
We're
Bad
the
news.
3 Duke backers.
Bad news.
Tonight on Prime Video, the Detroit Lions travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers. The Packers are getting 2 points at home tonight on Prime.
Jared Goff is 16-7 against the spread in September in his career. Go figure. I don't love this pick at all because I don't think the Lions have done enough to deserve being road dogs on a Thursday or road favorites on a Thursday night against a team that we don't know is dreadful. Like if they were playing the Broncos, sure, then I think Detroit should be road favorites. But to play a team that might be good on the road on Thursday night and to be favorites, that doesn't seem right, but the number is small enough that I'm going to have to ride with it anyway. Lions is the pick.
Yeah, that's where I am as well. I don't know what the weather is, and I wish I did before I'm going to say this. But these divisional games, as we've seen on Thursday nights, get really, really ugly. But I'm gonna keep on riding the Lions until it really bites me in the butt. I just think that Goff, that team plays hard, and I don't know what to make of the Packers yet. I think they're good. But they're just getting all these hurt guys back. I'll take the Lions.
The weather, by the way, it should be clear, looking like low 60s for the game. Should be clear. Maybe like 8-mile-per-hour winds, I think. But yeah, I was. What?
You want to go with the barometric pressure next?
Yeah, I can pull it up. I was leaning the Packers as well, just because I really like Jordan Love, and I feel like he, is kind of just, I don't know how to say it, kind of a winner, But then I saw that as a Lion, Jared Goff is 10-2 against the spread versus the NFC North as a Lion. So I'm gonna stick with the Lions, and I'm gonna take Jared Goff as well. So on the Packers, we have John in Little Rock, Nick Kelly on the Packers, Andrew Stetka is on the Packers, and Jeremy Kahn. Jeremy Kahn is taking the Packers.
I don't like this at all. I don't like this. This is a bad week. I think I'm 1-3 as far as agreeing with Jeremy Kahn so far. This is bad.
Moving to Sunday morning over across the pond in London at Wembley.
Well,
Wembley
live
Stadium.
from Andy's room,
right?
From Toy Story, of course.
The Falcons are taking on the Jaguars, which I guess it is a home game for the Jags. And the Jags are favored by 3.
I was not aware that
points.
they had done this bit before with a hockey game last year where they played it in a Disney universe.
Oh,
and
really?
had
What?
Yeah, it's this guy Drew Carter who does the play-by-play for this. And I watched some of the highlights to see what it was like, and it was sort of like watching NHL hits from years ago, except with everybody's got a big head and they're all I don't know. God bless them. They're trying something. It'll be different. It is definitely not for adults. I love Toy Story, but this is not how to watch a football game.
They got Booger on it this weekend?
God bless. I'm going to watch. Chris Fowler's doing a broadcast, too. I'm going to watch that one. That'll be how I watch the game on Sunday morning. I hate these. I hate these because so much of a trip to London is who's prepared to play in London. And everything else almost gets thrown out the window in those situations. So what I know is that Desmond Ridder is yet to win a game away from home in his career. And, of course, the Jaguars have experience going to London, so you'd think they would be better prepared, which is probably the only reason at this point that they're even favorites, because, boy, have they looked like doo-doo. I mean, they have just looked terrible to start the season. I'm going to stick with the Jaguars here, but it's another one that I don't feel good about.
Yeah, they have looked horrible, and especially offensively. If I'm not mistaken, is this the year that they do two
back-to-back,
in a row in London?
back-to-back games. Yep.
Okay, so they probably left early. They're ready to go. I'm gonna take them because it's really hard. You got a dome team going, to London, playing on that crazy field that sometimes is a mess. I'll take the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going to take the home team as well on this one. I'll take the Jaguars. On the Falcons, we have two backers of the Falcons. Ryan Shell will be taking the Atlanta Falcons, and so will Jeremy Kahn.
I'm going to jump off a bridge. I'm going to lose my house. What's going on here? This is bad, man.
Moving back to
we're making our picks for the week. Ken Zalis is with us here on GCR, and I am suicidal.
I don't know.
You're like one in 5.
I'm not kidding.
Right?
I'm not, and I almost guarantee that this is just the way it's going to be now moving forward. I'm just going to have to hope for the best. Jeremy, I remember 2 weeks ago. I went to bed. 2 weeks ago, Jeremy, I saw him for his birthday, and he was telling everybody that was out that his two biggest plays of the day were going to be the Patriots against the Dolphins and the Bengals against the Ravens. And I went to bed because I had bet not only in this contest, but I had bet real American dollars on those two games. They were like the only two games of the week that I had put real American dollars on, and I had bet the opposite way in both of them. And I went to bed that night mortified. I thought they were good bets. And, of course, I won both of them, and Jeremy was a big stupid head. So I pray to God that this is the week that Jeremy is talking out of his ass. Has no idea what he's saying.
Yeah, we'll see. Back to the mainland here as the Steelers head to Houston to take on the Texans, and the Texans are getting 3 points. Steelers 3-point favorites on the road.
Man. What do you do with this one, right? The Steelers do not deserve to be favored on the road because their offense stinks. Now, their defense is obviously extraordinary, and T.J. Watt is one of the best all-around players in all of football. Houston's a weird thing because it seems like they're starting – remember, we said this at the beginning of the year. Houston had the pieces that when you looked at them, you could see them being a team that figured things out this season, that wasn't woeful because the pieces were there. They just had to come together. They're certainly coming together, I think, quicker than we expected them to. None of us saw that coming a week ago. In a perfect world, this number is slightly bigger, and you're like, yeah, obviously I'm going with Houston here. It's not that, and so I guess you have to stick with the Steelers. God, I want to so badly because I really like what Houston is doing. But I don't know. All it takes is one play for T.J. Watt to ruin your life. I have to stick with the Steelers, but I don't like it.
Well, I'm sticking with the Steelers, and I do like it because it's only a 3-point spread. They look good enough for me on the road against the bad Vegas team. I don't know what to make of Houston. I agree with you. I think they have some nice young pieces, but they still can't run. They're still not running the ball well. The offensive line is still a little bit beat up. So I'm going to take the team with the better defense. I'll take the Steelers.
By the way, this was a number that really alarmed me. Teams that play on the road in Las Vegas since the Raiders moved there, the next week are 9-17 against the spread.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
It's a good number.
I haven't gone broke yet betting on the Steelers this season, so I think I'm going to continue. You know, a Watt in Houston typically that plays out pretty well for the guy named Watt.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with the Steelers as well, and it is nearly a clean sweep. We have our first lone wolf of the game of this week.
If you tell me it's Jeremy Kahn, I'm going to jump.
It's going to be Jerry.
It's Andrew Stecca.
Andrew Stecca's in second place this season.
Yeah.
And Lone Wolves, they've been pretty good of late. I think they've won 3 of their last 4.
Big opportunity for Andrew Stecca here, as it seems like it's going to be rarer and rarer that we get Lone Wolves, I think, as this group continues to grow. On to Buffalo. Buffalo will be hosting the 70-point scoring Miami Dolphins at 1 o'clock on CBS, but the Bills are 2.5-point favorites hosting the Dolphins.
Wow. What in the world do you do with that? By the way, of course, it's the best game of course, it's the game of the year, and no one's going to be watching it on Sunday because we're all watching the local cover. It's not available on your local coverage, and you'll be watching the Ravens, and maybe best case scenario, if you have the package, you have it on the second screen. Just bang up dynamite job you're doing over there, NFL. Bang up job. Well done.
When are they going to hire Glendo?
Cowboys Patriots in the big national window on Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, the best game of the week, nobody gets to watch.
So should they just start doing it like college football does and don't announce times until a week or two?
I've said they should stop doing 1 and 4 o'clock. They should stagger. They should have all of the games.
Go like 1, 2, 3.
12, 12:30, 1, 1:30, 2, 2:30, 3. Do it
like March Madness?
Yes. I've talked about the March Madness thing for years.
That would be.
Have a game on CBS, a game on CBS Sports Network, a game on whatever other Viacom networks they own. My God, I don't know why it's anyway.
True TV. That'd be funny.
The moral of the story is, I can't pick against the Dolphins right now. I can't do it. Like, they're just playing a different sport than everyone else is. And I get the Bills looked really good a week ago, and their defense stepped up. But what the Dolphins are doing is insane with their speed, and I just don't know how anyone matches up with it. So how do you, if the Dolphins are dogs anywhere, how do you bet against them? I've got to ride with the Dolphins.
Feels like a trap, doesn't it?
It feels like a massive trap.
We just saw the Dolphins put up 70, and now they're going to a team that finally looked good for the first time this year, and you're going to give the Dolphins 2.5. It just feels like a massive trap, and I'll take the bait because I'm not betting against the Dolphins right now when it's under a field goal. That's it.
Yeah, I was with you guys. I mean, like, I don't know how you go against the Dolphins right now, but I mean, it's still the NFL, and anything can really happen.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what that means.
Since 2005, teams that are 3-0 against the spread in entering Week 4, that come in as underdogs, are 4-13 against the spread since 2005.
That's weird.
Yeah. It is. So I'm gonna take the Bills at home here. It's a small number.
The Bills have also dominated the Dolphins at home. Like,
and
they've won 7 straight against Dolphins at home.
And I feel like an idiot because the last 2 weeks I went against the Bills like an idiot and they burned me. So I'm gonna flip and I'm gonna take the Bills here against the Dolphins. And we are largely split this week. On the Bills is myself, Paul Valley, John Proctor, John in Little Rock, Nick Kelly, Andrew Stecca, and Jeremy Kahn. On the Bills. On the Fins is Ryan Schell, Ken Zalis, Kyle Ottenheimer, and Glenn Clark.
Yeah, I've 2 and 5 agreeing with Jeremy so far this week. All right, let's wrap it up.
At the America's Game of the Week, Dallas Cowboys host the New England Patriots at 4:25.
It's the biggest wanking motion ever.
Dallas favored by 6.5.
That's the only part I have an issue with. Maybe Dallas covers this number, but they have not earned 6.5. I get it. They're not going to be as bad as they were a week ago. But what I would say is the Patriots' defense is actually good. 6.5 I don't like. Patriots.
I think you get an angry Cowboys team this week, and a very focused team. I think they're at least a touchdown better, especially on the offensive side. And the Dallas defense is really, really good. I'll take the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's how I'm kind of feeling this as well. I don't really have much confidence in it at all, but I'm going to take the Cowboys to bounce back as well. So on the boys will be myself, Paul Valley, Ken, John in Little Rock, Andrew Stetka on the Cowboys. On your side this week, Glenn, or for this matchup at least, is Jeremy Kahn.
Ah, thank God.
Ryan Shell.
He's allowed to get this one right.
Dr. Nick and John Proctor and Kyle on the Patriots.
All right, very good.
Finally, in Cleveland, Baltimore and the Ravens travel to take on the Brownies. That is at 1 o'clock on CBS. Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn. Browns favored by 3.
This is brutal, right? Like, this really is brutal. Your brain absolutely says the Browns is the pick here. Their defense has been outstanding, but it's still choosing to trust the Browns when the Ravens are getting points. And I get it again, 3. Like, if it was 3.5, then it's easy. Then you say, okay, fine, 3 changes. I'll be the idiot. Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this game. Because you said it right. I have to believe in the Browns, and I don't for the long haul.
Yep.
Ravens are so beat up, and the Cleveland defense is just. I mean, they're. You talk about the Dolphins playing a different football game offensively. They're playing a different football game defensively. They're not giving up anything. They do everything well. They stop the run to get after the passer. They're shutting down top wide receivers. I don't like how we're going into the game. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to take the Browns.
Ken taking the Browns. All right. I mean, I still think since the Ravens have Justin Tucker, I like them in these close spreaded games. I don't know if I'll ever be able to go against the Ravens, honestly. I'm taking the Ravens as well. It is tough because the Browns defense is really good. I'm not sure how much torn up everybody else was over it, but it is a largely most support for the Ravens. It is 9-2 in favor of the Ravens. Ken flips to the Browns after telling me Ravens this morning, whenever Ken gave me picks. But Ken flips to the Browns and Ryan Shell on the Browns.
All right.
Everybody else.
So Jeremy's allowed to get 4 games right this week. All right? And then maybe we can split the others, and I'm still good. I'll be all right. I'll let him get 6, and I can have 7. And we'll be all right that way. Yes.
I think Jeremy and I only picked 2 games the same.
Oh, that's even worse. Oh, what a nightmare that is. What a nightmare that is for you. Oh, that's not good. All right, Fantasy Pros, of course, and then your rankings are available at PressBoxOnline.com?
Yeah, they are. Hopefully they'll be better because they sucked last week.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. At Fans Fantasy is how you follow him on Twitter. Appreciate you, bud. We'll talk to you again next Thursday, all right?
Take care, guys.
All right, that's Ken Zalis with us for picks this week, and we will get them up a little bit later on at GlennClarkRadio.com.
Texas and Steelers are the only ones that Ken and Jeremy agree on.
That is bold, 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 bold. If you need some fantasy football advice, we've got an opportunity for you.
Yeah, if your fantasy football team needs a lot of help, like you're trying to start, like I am, Josh Palmer and Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver, you go over to PressBoxOnline.com/contest because PressBox and Live Casino and Hotel, they have the answer. One lucky winner will receive a private fantasy football consultation with PressBox fantasy football expert Joe Serpico with ongoing help throughout the season, including advice on starts and sits, trades, and waiver wire pickups, plus a VIP game day experience at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland Sports and Social. This is a really, really good deal. You get a reserve table, $200 of food and beverage credit, and all you got to do to enter, go to PressBoxOnline.com/contest. That's PressBoxOnline.com/contest. Must be 21 or older to enter. Complete rules are available over at PressBoxOnline.com/contest.
All right. So before we get to Marty Smith real quick, we have not a couple things I wanted to get in. One, we have not talked at all about the Damian Lillard trade. I think Milwaukee becomes the favorites now. I haven't looked. Let me go to Superbook and see if they've got updated odds. I assume that the Nuggets were just going to be favorites for a little while to every year to be to win the NBA title, but I don't know, man. Like I would think, the Bucks have surged in front, plus 350 for the Bucks. Nuggets plus 500, Celtics plus 550, Suns plus 650, Lakers 10-1, Warriors 12-1. I mean, that's a lethal combination. I mean, that's absolutely lethal. Giannis and Damian Lillard together. Now, that means that Giannis has to stay healthy, obviously, and, all those things. But, damn, like, that is as formidable a duo as far as their different skill sets are concerned, right? Like, you can talk all you want about the Suns' backcourt. On top of everything, they no longer have DeAndre Ayton now. That might prove to be addition by subtraction. And Nurkic I think that DeAndre Ayton is a better basketball player than Jusuf Nurkic is. I get that the fit never seemed to work, and Ayton was coming up small in the biggest situations. I don't know how to explain DeAndre Ayton's story, right? It makes no sense. There are moments where he has been unbelievably good, and then there have been moments where he can't even be on the floor. It's what it is. They kind of, at some point, we're going to have to move on. They've moved on. But what the Suns present is they're going to have to win scoring in their backcourt for the most part. What the Bucks present is almost a perfect combination. And when Jamal Murray got healthy, that was kind of what the Nuggets presented, right? Like that you could pay all the attention that you wanted to Jokic, but he was also a damn good passer, and he was very capable of getting the ball out to the guys that you were leaving open. And when Jamal Murray was on the floor, the Nuggets proved that, like, if we had had him all along, maybe they would have been winning multiple championships. The bigger stories, even than the Bucks part of it, is what this says about a league in which the players had usurped all of the power. And I know that was discussed ad nauseum yesterday. It makes sense because they're based in Miami. I know it was a big topic on the Le Batard show. Damian Lillard wanted to go to Miami. Damian Lillard, and it almost like felt like it was sort of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing that everybody knew. Well, before the season begins, Damian Lillard's going to be in Miami. Like, he's going to be part of the Heat. They're just waiting to try to drive it up as much as they can. And players in those situations in the NBA have kind of long been able to dictate. The NBA has essentially given all the players have usurped the power in the NBA. It's in part because there are fewer of them. So even like the lesser players are more highly compensated and are more. There's only so many guys on a team. You don't get to have a 53rd man on the roster. There isn't a left-handed bullpen, specialist, a loogie on the roster. I get it. The guys on the back end of an NBA roster are still two-way players. They're still, but like the power is more significant on smaller rosters. The 30th guy on an NFL roster is still relevant. I'm stunned in a way that this ended up playing out the way that it did, and that the Blazers said, we don't care. If you're not going to play for us, we're going to do what's best for us. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, because who would be paying attention to the NBA in August and September? I had not heard anything about the Bucks in this process. Like, and maybe, again, like, it was in NBA circles very loud, and just why would you be dipping your toes into NBA circles in the late summer and early fall? But it is wild to me that this is a team that kind of said to a player, no, you don't get to have all the power here. And I guess Damian Lillard could have threatened, like, well, I won't play. He could have, done whatever he wanted to do in order to force his way to Miami. And maybe he says, I just want to win a title. And Milwaukee got a pretty damn good chance of doing that. And maybe there was still power involved. Like, maybe there was somebody else that was on the table that Damian Lillard said, if you trade me there, I won't, right? Like, I won't show up. I won't play. But the assumption was that he wanted to be in Miami the entire time. And what a kick in the teeth it has to be for the Heat, who it felt like were like operating with the idea that Damian Lillard was going to be part of their team and that they were going to become the favorites to win the East. And this seismically shifts the balance of power to Milwaukee. I mean, seismically.
Yeah.
So, big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think
okay.
I agree with you.
Dynamite observation.
Yeah,
call him the best color analyst in basketball for nothing.
I know it's a bummer for the Wizards, I guess, because now they really have no shot in the East.
But dude, like, they had a chance in the East?
Yeah, I mean, they might have.
No,
Jordan Poole was going
to.
Jordan Poole was going to. I mean, Jordan Poole's now, I guess, not the best shooter in the East anymore.
Did you really try to say bummer for the Wizards? That was what you had to offer.
Yeah.
They finished runner-up, though. Like everybody said, they had the second-best package on the table for
Probably
trading
did,
for
yeah, might
Damian
have.
Lillard. Yeah.
Offer them like the Washington Monument or something. And
Sure. And now it's I can't remember the guy's name. Who's the guy that went to Portland?
The
rookie. Who's the
like the full deal?
No. Who was the guy they drafted? That
I don't know.
Oh my God! Why am I
It's
struggling?
NBA.
No, why am I blanking on this? This is bad. What the hell is going on here? Scoot Henderson.
Yeah, Scoot
Jeez.
Henderson. Scoot
Christ,
Henderson.
why was I struggling with that? So it's fully the Scoot Henderson show moving forward in Portland.
No, that was the first thing he said too after he drafted. I was hoping to play with Lillard.
No, I mean, sure, but he never would. He was never going to. Everybody knew. All right, we had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his busy schedule. He is on a tour promoting his new book, but always a real great opportunity to catch up with Marty Smith from ESPN here on GCR. I have been diving into this book, and it's interesting that we're talking, of course, this week in Baltimore, we talk so much about Brooks Robinson, and when I think about people that are entirely and always kind, I think about the author of this book, Sideline CEO. He is ESPN's Marty Smith, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Marty, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's so great to catch up. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us.
Oh, pleasure's mine, brother. I appreciate you having me this morning. I hope you guys are good up there.
Everything is good here, Marty. It's funny because when I found out the concept for the book, I thought, man, that's fascinating, right? And I can only imagine what these conversations were like for you. And I want to bring a couple of things that I've read already, but in general, what's amazing to me about you is what I would worry if I was approaching this project is that I would ask questions and the answers I would get back would be platitudes, right? How are you able to present these concepts and avoid from just getting coach speak or platitudes in terms of concepts like leadership when you were talking to so many legendary coaches?
I guess I would say a couple things. First, it is the long-standing relationships that I've built with many of the individuals in the book based on my ESPN career. Folks like Nick Saban, Dabo Sweeney, Mac Brown, Roy Williams, Kirby Smart, those folks. And then I think from there, the ones that I had not engaged with previously, like Kim Mulkey, the great LSU women's basketball coach. I'd never met her prior to this project. Patty Gasso, the great Oklahoma softball coach, also never met. I'd never met Doc Rivers prior to the project. So I think where I got a little fortunate was I had already built great relationships with a lot of them, and then because those with whom I build great relationships gave me great stuff, I was able to go to the ones I had not met and said, well, these other people are in the book, and I'm certain that gave me a lot of leverage with them saying yes. And then being vulnerable, I'm not sure why they were vulnerable, but you're so right. In so many cases with these people, we see them on the sidelines doing their thing or in a press conference being clinical or vanilla. But in this book, man, they really are vulnerable.
Some of the interesting things. So I have great respect for Tom Izzo, right? And what he said about not believing in being a leader by example, like really blew me away, right? Like that's not a leader. And I'm like, whoa, because we say that. Yeah, Marty, in our business, this is just one of some of the nonsense things that we say, not even thinking about it. But the thought process there. And being willing to sort of call that out was the first thing as I was diving into the book that really jumped out at me, like, whoa, that's somebody saying something here.
It was really fascinating to me, too. And Coach Izzo has been wonderful to me throughout my journey. And when he said that, it's funny, the process of writing this book was different than my first book, which was more memoir-ish. And so the edit process was really grammatical, making sure that I told the stories in as succinct a way as I could and that kind of thing. This one was people are entrusting you with the spirit and the context of their words, and so I wanted to be a tremendous steward of that spirit and that context. So the edit process, I wore these poor folks out, brother. I mean, I went back to them time and again. Is this what you meant to say? Is this how you meant to say it? Is this what you meant? And with Coach Izzo, I went back to him several times, and that was one of them. He goes, hell yeah, I believe that. I meant every word of it, because if you're not bringing people with you, I think the ultimate through line of this book is through trust of your words and follow through with your actions. It is bringing people with you, because leadership is not power. Leadership is influence.
Mm-hmm.
So can you bring people with you to achieve a task, especially if they don't believe they're capable themselves? And that's really the through line with all of the pillars that are in the book. But, yeah, man, Izzo's a stud. I love that dude.
He is Marty Smith, and again, the book is Sideline CEO. It is available right now, and we will link it up on our Twitter account, @Glenn_Clark_Radio. Sideline CEO, Leadership Principles from Championship Coaches. Let me go back, because you said, not everyone was someone that was there anyone that you wanted to have involved that wasn't really as interested in being vulnerable and opening up to you? Was there someone to you that was maybe the biggest surprise? Like, I can't believe I got so many good things out of this person during the course of doing this book.
Honestly, I felt that way about all of them. I wish I got more time with Coach Gibbs. It was funny. I've known Joe Gibbs for 25 years through my NASCAR life, and he's a wonderful man, and I've always loved his spirit. And it was funny. We were in the middle. I mean, he gave me plenty of time, and we were probably 30 minutes in, I don't know. And he was like, oh, my gosh, Marty, I got to go. I have a competition meeting. And so he had to bail out of the interview a little earlier than I wanted to get a few more things from Coach. But nonetheless, he was so brilliant and kind to give me the time he did. There were two people that I wanted in the pages that I did not get in the pages specifically, one of whom told me no. The other one was scheduled to do the book and then got very busy. The one that told me no is someone I've gotten to know generally well through my show on SEC Network, Marty and McGee. That's Dawn Staley, the amazing
yes.
women's basketball coach of South Carolina. I think Coach Staley politely declined because she's going to write her own leadership monster someday. Doesn't want to give away all her secrets. I get it. And the other one is Deion Sanders. Coach Prime told me yes, he was going to do the book. And then he got the Colorado job, and we just couldn't make our schedules mesh. I was on a super tight deadline. I had less than 5 months to write this thing. So I was on a super tight deadline, and Prime and I just couldn't make it work. But I admire him so much. And now, he's the biggest story in sports again with what he's doing out west of Colorado.
No question. Marty, I wonder if I could for you, because this is fascinating. You and I have talked about how what resonates with me and your unbelievable kindness, and that you are someone who is the exact same in every circumstance. And I wonder for you, you talk about your show, Marty and McGee, as the face of it, you've got to be some amount of a leader in those moments. Is it ever difficult for you to constantly be Marty Smith, like a burden of I'm known for my kindness, and yet you need to deliver results at the same time? Like, you need to make sure that everybody's doing their job and presenting the best thing you can do to have a successful show, to do successful broadcasts.
I think that you can be a servant leader and make your point very directly, while not making it personal about someone if they didn't do the job that you expect, or if they need to maybe alter their approach or evolve in certain ways. That's part of leadership. That's one of the pillars in the book, is evolution. And I've certainly evolved, because my natural personality is I'm an impulsive person. I have been my whole life. My father was a very impulsive person. My son is a very impulsive person, but I've realized with time and enough failures that I need to go inward when I fail. I need to process what I've done wrong, and then I need to take the steps to make sure that I'm doing everything I have to do to find my best self all the time. And that is a challenge a lot. But I know that that's the best me, and that's what I'm trying to be every day. And so I think it might be easier in life to be just flippant in certain contexts, but I don't want to be that guy, man. I'm not always great at it. There's a lot of things I want back, but I do try my best to constantly
be that kind of person. So I don't know. That's a great question, and I'm trying every single day to do that. But we got something special with Marty. It's funny you say that because one of the very important conversations that Ryan and I have had recently, and I'm not speaking out of school because we've actually mentioned it on Marty and McGee. I don't want to be the show and the friendship and the relationship that is beautiful and people welcome us into their living room, but then over time it becomes fractured by ego. And like I think about, Brooks and Dunn, one of my favorite country groups of all time. I love Kicks and Ronnie. I'm not speaking out. I've interviewed both of them about this. They broke up for a time because they started to compare. And comparison's the thief of joy. I know you know that adage, but It's so true. And I've called McGee on the phone and said, look, dude, if there's something I'm doing that is annoying you, you got to tell me. And it's got to be vice versa. We have to be transparent that way because we have something special here. And I don't want it to suffer based on some stupid thing that festers. And we have been very honest with one another, and it's so beneficial.
That's really cool, Marty. That's really cool to hear you acknowledge that, and it's powerful stuff. I know I need to let you go. Can I, Maryland football is 4-0, right? So they're definitely going to be. They're going to beat Ohio State. They're going to be 8-0. Game day's finally coming to College Park in a few weeks, right? Like that's definitely happening this season, correct?
This is the year, and it's funny. My brother-in-law also is a Terp, and we've had the same conversation.
Man, it would be cool. I'm not sure I'm ready to go there yet, but it's just nice to not be miserable and to not be a doormat anymore and to actually enjoy football.
I mean, it's just unfortunate for them that they play in what I believe is the most difficult division in sports. I've long said the SEC West is the most difficult division in sports, but this year it's the Big Ten East, man. That thing is a monster.
It is crazy, man. It is crazy. We'll be looking forward to there being no divisions here in a few years. At Marty Smith, ESPN, sideline CEO, leadership principles from championship coaches. Really wonderful read for anybody, honestly. This is a great book, not just for people that are in leadership positions. Marty Smith, truly always a pleasure. Thank you for spending a couple minutes with us.
Appreciate the platform, brother, and love your spirit. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
That is Marty Smith from ESPN. Appreciate him spending a couple of minutes with us. If you've not picked up the print issue of Pressbox, it is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms and at the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Lamar Jackson on the cover. Great cover story from Bo Smolka, all about the contract era for Lamar Jackson. Go pick that up today. When we come back in, we will get Tidbit, we will get Tubular, and segment number 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show with Michael Pierce. It's on the way. It's GCR.
Come for a game, stay for everything else. Book an unforgettable fall getaway in Charm City. Enjoy only in Baltimore festivals, mouthwatering eats, and endless entertainment. Treat yourself to a staycation in the heart of downtown, or try one of the city's many charming neighborhood hotels. And don't miss out on packages for free parking, breakfast, and more. Plan your stay at baltimore.org/hotels.
Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The Maryland 5-Star returns to iconic Fair Hill October 19th to 22nd, marking the next chapter in Maryland's equestrian tradition. Best described as the triathlon of horse eventing, you won't want to miss this thrilling sport. Enjoy a fall festival with local fare, retail vendors, and tons of family fun. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront with vibrant small towns and accommodations to suit every desire. It's the place to be in October. Visit Maryland5star.us for tickets.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand.
Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the Eastern Shore, where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org.
It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to pressboxonline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of Pressbox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, October 3rd at Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North. It's brought to you by Superbook Sports. And don't forget, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, visit helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
All electronic tolling is here to stay in Maryland, and DriveEasyMD.com helps you cruise a little easier. We're Maryland's tolling resource, home to EasyPass, pay-by-plate, and video tolling. It's never been easier to pay your way. DriveEasyMD.com. We'll keep you moving.
Make sure you're tuned in every Tuesday for Pressbox fantasy football analyst Joe Serpico to get you ready for your Waiver Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. And if you have other fantasies you want fulfilled, subscribe to Glenn and Jeremy Kahn's OnlyFans page at... Wait, are people supposed to know about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that they are. Griffin, you want to tell everybody what's going on at Live Casino and Hotel these days?
Yeah, I want to tell you guys about the second chance drawing going on right now at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Maybe luck wasn't on your side on a recent bet. Well, you can turn those losses into winning opportunities with the second chance to win promotion between now and January 4th, 2024. All Live Casino and Hotel Maryland Rewards members will be able to enter their losing bet slips into the second chance to win drum. And 2 nights a week, 20 different winners will be chosen. Prizes range from Live Casino and Hotel Maryland reward apparel, sports and social ultimate happy hour prizes, as well as cash and free play prizes worth up to $500. Drawings will be held every Thursday and Monday, so turn those losses into wins with the second chance drawing over at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino in Hotel Maryland. Arundel Mills must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Orioles have announced that they will be holding a public memorial for Brooks Robinson on Monday morning at 10 a.m. at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. There will be parking available. The lots open at 8:30. The stadium will open at 9 a.m. No details as of yet as to who might be speaking, who might be involved. But as was mentioned, I know publicly, Boog Powell, for example, had come to town just because he was hoping to see Brooks one more time, knowing that Brooks was about to pass away. This was something that everyone knew was coming, and I think people were prepared for. So that's what we know so far. The Orioles will hold a public memorial, 10 a.m. on Monday. It is not a ticketed event. You don't need to buy a ticket. You don't need to register anywhere. You can just show up Monday morning at Oriole Park at Camden Yards to be a part of the public memorial that they will hold for Brooks Robinson. which is a very appropriate thing to do for the legend. So that's this coming Monday morning after the regular season finale on Sunday. All right, we are winding down for a Thursday edition of the program. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by the Baltimore County Police Department. Hiring event coming up October 28th at the Public Safety Building, 700 East Joppa Road in Towson. You show up. You got the opportunity to go through everything, the application process, the written test, the agility test, all of it. Plus, there will be members of the specialized units that will be there. They will be able to answer all of the questions that you have about perhaps a career path in the Baltimore County Police Department, a career change to join the Baltimore County Police Department. And it's a trunk or treat event for the kids. So a safe way for them to get their candy, a safe way for them to get in their costumes and have a great day, an opportunity for them to interact with the Baltimore County Police as you try to build that trust between your kids and the police. Great day ahead, October 28th, Public Safety Building, 700 East Joppa Road in Towson, 410-887-5542, or join BaltimoreCountyPD.com in order to find out more.
Ronald Acuna is still putting together a season that we've never seen before. 40 home runs. He's actually at 41 home runs now. 41 home runs, 70 stolen bases. No one's ever done that. He has now 13 more home runs than any other player with 70 stolen bases in a season, as Ricky Henderson hit, 28 in 1986. And he now has 24 more stolen bases than any other player in a 40 home run season. Alex Rodriguez before.
It's a difficult thing. How do we talk about it with the change in the rules?
Mm-hmm.
We all know it's an amazing season. We all know he's the MVP of the National League. But trying to give
Dodger fans, I don't know if they know.
He's the MVP of the National League.
I agree.
Nobody is debating it. The odds are astronomical. The debate that's warranted is how do you give historical context to the season that Ronald Acuna is having on the stolen base side because of the change in the rules, which I had no problem with, and I wanted that excitement back in baseball, but it's not the same thing as a stolen base in another season. So I just don't know. I don't know. We can all say it's an incredible season. It's unbelievable, and he's competing this year with the same rules as everybody else is, and he is drastically better than everybody else. But I just don't know how to give it historical context when you remember that the rules changed in order to make stolen bases easier this season. That's all.
Yeah, the Braves also only need 5 more home runs to break the single-season record for most home runs in a season by one team. It was the Twins, it was the Twins in 2019. So they only need 5 more, 4 games left. So it seems like they should be able to do that, but we'll see. We'll see. According to Elias, Damian Lillard and Giannis will become the second pair of teammates in NBA history to play together after following a season where they both scored 30 points or more in the prior season. Second pair of teammates to do this. They will become the second pair of teammates. The other duo was in 1962 and 1963.
Sure. The other duo was in 1962.
Los Angeles.
So, Jerry West?
Jerry West, yes.
And, God, would that have been... God.
You know it, because...
I'm sure I do. Is it Elgin Baylor?
It is Elgin Baylor. They averaged 30 points in 61 and 62 and decided to run it back the following season as well together. So Giannis and Lillard will be the second time that we have 2 30-point scorers from the season prior on the same team. Lillard will also be the first player in NBA history he will have the most points. He averaged 32 points per game last season. That is the most points averaged by a player to now play on a new team in the following season. Yes, before that, it was 31 points a game by Moses Malone
I'm frankly surprised that
1982.
LeBron didn't average that when he changed teams, or Kevin
fifth,
Durant,
or I guess he'll be sixth most now. LeBron was 29.
I mean, I get it; it's an extraordinary average, but I'm still just kind of surprised because these guys change teams so frequently now. This is not that would make more sense to me once upon a time. It's just that there's so much team changing at this point that I'm just a little surprised that no one else had done it. But I get it; the numbers are crazy, and Damian Lillard was the one coming from the team where he was the only offense, whereas some other guys.
Third on this list, averaged 30.2 points in 1980. World Be Free.
World Be Free. Yeah, absolutely.
World Be Free. I wanted to make sure I said his name.
Do you not know the story of World Be Free?
I don't. I mean, I guess he's clearly an activist and
well, I mean, okay, yes,
a humanitarian. I guess.
Yes, that is.
No, I don't know I don't know his full story.
Well, his name was
Free.
Lloyd Free,
Yeah,
correct?
Lloyd
Was
Free.
his name? Yes, 100%. I actually don't know why he became, but it sounds like he was a very well-known basketball player. It sounds like you're treating him like an old-timey baseball player.
Yeah, kind of. I am. Okay. Yes. All right. My apologies. The world. Jorge Mateo stole his 30th base for the Orioles. He is now the sixth Oriole in Orioles history, sixth player in Orioles history. It's with back-to-back.
By the way, it wasn't because he was an activist. I should have said that. It had nothing to do with him being an activist. It was. I mean, his name is Lloyd.
And then it was Be Free.
Correct.
Yeah.
Be Free was
Or Be Free. Yeah.
Be Free. His middle name started with a B, and his last name was Free. I don't know what his middle name was, but it wasn't because he was an activist. It had something to do with his
Bernard was his middle name.
Bernard, that's right. And then it had something to do with it was a basketball reason why he went by World. It was, hang on.
Name change here. According to Free, the fellas back in Brownsville gave me the nickname World when I was in junior high. And they would just be calling me All World.
It was because he had a 44-inch vertical leap. So
pretty good.
Yeah, he could cover the world. But yes, it was not an activism thing.
Okay. Well, because then I saw also in his Wikipedia that he admired Muhammad Ali.
Well, I mean, everyone
Yeah, I guess
did.
everyone did.
For God's sakes. You admired Muhammad Ali. Great. That puts you in the exclusive company of everyone.
Jorge Mateo, the sixth player in Orioles history with back-to-back 30 stolen base seasons.
Stole third base right in front of it. We were sitting right
really?
between home plate and third base last night, right in front of us.
And he just walked there. I mean, they didn't even...
Yeah, you know, the only bummer about our seats is we actually didn't have a good view of the 5 because we were so close that we couldn't see above it to look down on it.
Wow, yeah. You're so close.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
It was a lovely night. Thank you to my buddy John. We had a great time.
Who are the other 5 with back-to-back 30 stolen base seasons in Orioles history? Need to be back-to-back seasons. Brady never did it back-to-back.
That's surprising.
It is. It is.
How about Brian Roberts?
Brian Roberts did, in fact, have back-to-back 30 stolen base seasons.
30 stolen bases. How about Al Bunbury?
Al Bunbury is indeed on this list.
B.
79 and 80 went back-to-back.
How about... Man, these are not obvious now. How about... Man. Jonathan VR.
Jonathan VR did not do it.
I didn't even play a second season. Maybe that's what I'm...
I mean, he had 40 stolen bases in 2019, but yeah, if he did not return...
Yeah,
I guess
I couldn't even remember. Honest to God,
2020. So.
Yeah, they even if he did, they wouldn't have been able to get to 30 stolen bases. Man, this is actually quite tricky. Paul Blair.
Paul Blair is not on the list.
That's surprising.
The most bases Paul Blair stole. Did he ever even have a 30?
Did he really not have a 30 stolen base
He
season?
might not have.
Okay. I mean, he was very athletic, but that's. I don't. Has Cedric had back-to-back?
Cedric, in fact, has had back-to-back 30 stolen bases. He stole 30 last year as well. Yeah, so 21 and 22. Cedric Mullins
obviously had the outstanding season the year before that.
27 is the most stolen bases Paul Blair.
That's crazy. There's still 3 more.
There is 2 more.
2 more.
Yes, because Mateo.
Oh, Mateo is the 6th. Got it. There's still 2 more. Jeez. I mean, I don't think it was Adam Jones.
It was not Adam Jones.
I don't think it was Nick Markakis.
Not Nick Markakis. You're missing the all-time single-season stolen base leader.
I'm missing the all-time single-season
in Orioles history.
All-time single-season stolen base leader in Orioles history. I don't I would have bet that was Brady Anderson, so I'm not sure that I know who that is. Louis Aparicio.
Louis Aparicio. He stole 57 bases in 64.
Yeah.
And you're missing one more here.
Is it a random?
It is. I mean, it's. Yeah, I guess it's kind of random. Yeah.
Jay Payton.
It was 06 and 07.
Asking me to remember. Jerry Hairston.
Not Jerry Hairston.
I don't know.
He was an outfielder. And then he started with the Cubs.
And it wasn't Jay. What was the other guy? Corey Patterson.
Corey Patterson in 2006 and 2007.
He stole that many bases.
Yeah,
Man, that's why.
Those were his 2 best seasons.
All right.
In stolen bases.
All right, very good. That's Tidbit. Tidbit is also brought to you today by Superbook Sports. Use the code GlennClark23 when you sign up, and you will get a same-day first bet match up to $250, win or lose, with Superbook.com and the Superbook app. Tubular is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Orioles indeed 1 win away, or 1 Rays loss away. But the Rays don't play tonight. Are they correct? Right?
Yeah. Destiny is in the
So
Orioles'
the only way to
hands.
clinch tonight is to win. Orioles, Red Sox, Chris Sale, Dean Kramer, the pitching matchup on Masson at 6:30. Also, anywhere in the country, it's the free game on MLB TV, so you have the ability to watch it. I hope. Amazon Prime tonight, NFL Week 4 kicks off. Lions, Packers, 8:15. College football, Temple, Tulsa, 7:30 on ESPN. Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky, 7:30 CBS Sports Network. Jacksonville State, Sam Houston, both, I believe, first-year D1 program, first-year FBS program.
Yes.
8 o'clock on ESPNU. All the rest of the baseball, find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Capitals preseason game tonight against the Red Wings on NHL Network and Monumental Sports Network. That's all that matters. Non-sports, anything else?
Nothing that really matters. It is the series premiere of The Golden Bachelor. On ABC.
With the 50-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, The Golden Bachelor, and then followed by the season 9 premiere of Bachelor in Paradise. Big Bachelor night on. I don't know why they're picking Thursdays now. Maybe I don't know. They don't have any trust.
Counter-program football. I don't know. Yeah. I got nothing. I mean, it would make sense, right? More female-driven programming on against football. Like that would make some sense. And ABC is just going to air, because Bachelor used to be a Monday night thing, didn't it? But ABC is just going to air Monday Night Football the rest of the year, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So. All right, very good. Tubular is also brought to you today by Project Game Day, which returns this Sunday after Ravens-Browns. Myself, Rita, and a cast of characters still nailing down this week's special guest. But come join us after Ravens-Browns Sunday. YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay, Facebook.com/PressBoxSports for Project Game Day this Sunday. All right, thanks today to Marty Smith from ESPN. Thanks to Ian Eagle. Thanks also to Ken Zalis and to Sean Greeley from Maryland Football. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Stan will be in studio with us tomorrow. Charles Davis will join us. He's also on the call for Ravens-Browns on Sunday. We will talk to the great Roy Firestone about his memories of his very close friend, Brooks Robinson. And
Bo Smolka will
check in,
well.
Ravens beat writer for Press Box. Why did I feel like there was something? Oh, Michael Dunn of the Cleveland Browns, former Terp, will join us tomorrow as well. So a lot to do on the program tomorrow. Thanks to everybody at Press Box, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Maryland 5-Star, A.J. Michaels, Baltimore County Police Department, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, Superbook Sports, Dorchester County, the Baltimore Orioles, Birdland Sports, Easy Pass MD, Harford County, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Thursday evening. Go Birds! Duke sucks. We wrap up today's show with segment number 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show from this week at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Welcome back into the Tyus Bowser Show Press Box in 105.7 The Fan. We are live at Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North, where give me a second here, because I was just told some information, Rita. I don't know what your plans are on Saturday, but they're having their big Oktoberfest party on Saturday, and it's their 2nd anniversary.
Guess I'll be there.
$25 all-you-can-drink ticket.
Oh, yeah.
Boy. Oh, gotta purchase it on site on Saturday. They will be open, and the party will be going all day long. Some traditional German-style games like a beer stein holding competition, a pretzel throwing competition, and much more. Of course, all the games will be on all the TVs here at Guilford Hall Brewery, but that's this Saturday. So depending on when you're hearing this, that would be the 30th. You're going to want to be here to celebrate Oktoberfest at Guilford Hall Brewery. This place is amazing. The food's, we've been out here so many times.
Yeah.
The food's awesome. The drink
Amazing.
selection.
Amazing.
Rita hangs out here even when we're not here.
Yeah,
This
she
is
got her
fun.
usual.
It's
you know,
this and
little
Hamilton
beer.
are typically my usual way. I am drinking Oktoberfest right now.
Look at
actually.
that. Look at that.
So there's that.
Most of their beers now available in cans as well, but this Saturday, $25 all-you-can-drink ticket. You're not going to want to miss the Oktoberfest celebration here at Guilford Hall. All right, Tyus is here. Rita and Glenn, of course, our special guest is the one and only Michael Pierce. Tyus, you got to go to the White House.
Yes.
And we
I did.
completely missed talking to you about this last time, man.
Yeah, that was a very low-key trip. I went to this Rolls Royce event in Houston, and lucky.
What were you doing at the Rolls Royce event?
So,
were you looking to buy?
So that's the thing. So one of my assistants with my agency knew this lady that worked at the what is it called? I forgot the name of that spot, but she works at the famous hotel in Houston owned by Tillman Fertitta. You know, he owns
Who
the
owns the
Golden
Rockets
Nugget,
and- yeah.
all of that, and pretty much invited me to this Rolls Royce event, just an opportunity to network and connect with,
What a
people there.
humble brag, by the way, is going on right now, all right?
I feel like they don't allow guests that can't afford Rolls Royces. In the Rolls
I
Royce.
can't. Obviously, I don't drive one, so I mean that right there tells you. But no, it was a crazy event. I mean, meeting people that's flying in helicopters, on the golf course, and multimillionaires, people who, own Rolls Royces for a living, like collect Rolls Royces for a living, and they're like literally the first person they call. And it's like, hey, you want this? Yeah, I'm gonna get it, So, it's just the opportunity to meet people, and we went to dinner after.
By the way, I understand these people. These are my people.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'm just there. I'm just here for the moment. But we went out to eat that night and got the chance to talk to a lady, and she told me she worked for the Bush administration. And we just got to talk and got the chance to chat and connect. And she was like, yeah, well, I told her I played with the Ravens. Like, oh, well, I'm in the Bush administration. I know that's close. So
This is the funny part about this is she's like, you're the least accomplished person that I've met today.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So she was like, hey, if you're ever wanting to, take a visit to the White House, just let me know. I can call my friend who still works there, and we can make it happen. I was like, absolutely. So I brought my parents, brought two of my cousins, and my assistant out there, and we had the chance to kind of move around the White House a little bit. Couldn't have any phones in there, so I wasn't able to take a picture of the Oval Office and
You're not allowed to have a phone anywhere in the White House?
You can't have a phone at all in the West Wing.
Really?
Like, as soon as you walk through the door, there's
Okay,
like
wait,
a
so
bunch
were you on like the public tour, or were you on like a special tour
No,
because
this
you
was
knew
a spe-
somebody?
No, this
All
is
right.
so. As far as the tour, you have to know someone who works in
Yeah,
there in order
I know
to have
somebody
it.
who knows somebody who knows somebody situation.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we had the chance to actually like move around to some pretty cool spots. And like I said, you walk through the door, they have, little cubbies right there that you lock your phones in. They check you and make sure you don't have nothing. And then you just, get to move around and check it out.
Wow.
And as close as you get to the Oval Office, the thicker the doors get. So like the White House, the Oval Office.
I'm now imagining you
probably like
checking the thickness of all of the doors.
No, but like as we're walking, they mentioned like, one of the cool things in here is the fact that once you get close to the Oval Office or the important rooms, the thicker the door is, so you're not able to
hear like
stuff,
all of the
things
secrets.
like that. So that was
yeah.
one of the cool little things, and just a cool experience.
I now know more about how the Clinton years happened. All right.
Oh gosh, we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
With that in mind, I think we've talked before. So, you both of you guys are really religious guys, right? Like, I think we talked before about like the idea that maybe you could be a preacher. And I've heard guys talk about like when Tyus talks, he sounds like a preacher, right?
I
And,
tend to
like-
get that a lot, man. I get that a lot.
But what about who on the team is most likely to be in the White House one day, or at least just be like, which of your teammates could you one day see being a politician of some sort?
Justin Tucker.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a goof.
I mean, and you you didn't even think about this. It was like immediate response.
I mean, we're not too far, as far as our lockers. So, and then just hearing from other people that knows him well. I mean, I've heard that he's a very political guy.
Really?
So
He's really smart.
Yeah, very smart.
I know he's smart. I don't want to take
guy.
anything away from him, but you just see, like, he never turns it off.
But
You'll
he's
be
very
just having I'll literally be like, Justin, how you doing today? And he'll start singing.
That's
Like,
what I was about to say. We see him as like the opera singer, but not necessarily the politician per se.
You'd be amazed. Like this guy, he's very tuned in. He's dialed into the political.
Mike, was there anybody else that jumped to mind, or are you thinking?
I feel like Kyle Hamilton could do a pretty good job.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's surprising. I didn't.
Kyle pretty smart, bro. And then like I said, he has a serious side, but he kind of laid back. But I mean, really, I guess when you look at a lot of these presidential candidates.
Rita roll her eyes.
I was rolling my eyes at Trippy.
She was saying Marlon?
Yeah, so that's why I was rolling my eyes. I was like,
Oh, Trippy's trying to make himself Senator Trippy back there.
Yeah, no, I think Kyle could do it. He's a Notre Dame guy.
I mean, there's no doubt he's smart.
his
Like,
brother, I think, went to Penn, so I could see that. I could see that.
international family.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see it.
I could see that a little bit. That makes some sense.
All right, Michael. We know that you had a major life-changing event.
Everybody want to congratulate Michael Pierce because he got married
He
this
got married.
offseason.
Indeed. Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much.
So what has that been like? What is married life like? Glenn knows the answer to this. I used to know the answer to this.
I want to know the answer.
It's weird because Mike didn't ask me because I would have been, at the top of the don't do it list, bro. Like, don't do it.
Oh, God.
I'm glad you didn't
Wonderful,
listen to
though.
him.
I'm so glad.
I
didn't
hope your
realize
wife
she
is
was-
not listening.
So how's married life been for you thus far?
If you put in the words that my wife has told her, I guess her uncle, I'm at work all the time. So, no, it's been awesome. Like I said, she's my best friend. I get to spend off days with her. We do yoga together. She got me into Pilates, which has been really good for me. She's like super, super health conscious. So like she went through all my like food choices. So I had I had almond milk, and she told me all the things that was wrong with almond milk, and then we moved to oat milk. It's a whole bunch of little stuff.
You can't drink almond milk?
We need some answers.
She is a pharmacist by trade, so I will say that my wife is a pharmacist by trade, so she's a lot smarter than I am, so some of those stuff I do not question.
What
So,
is he allowed
you
to
just
drink
kinda-
if he can't drink almond milk?
I like almond milk.
I heard a lot of stuff has like sunflower oil and it's not good for you and all this other
man.
stuff. But again, I had a problem staying healthy, so whatever she kind of told me, I was just like, all right, but just throw it away. But no, man, we have a good time, man. Like I said, it's my yoga buddy, it's my life partner. We got to travel the world, went to Dubai.
Yeah.
A lot of like
Dope.
stuff I always wanted to do, but now I have like my best friend
Did
with
she
me.
have to like drag you kicking and screaming into yoga and Pilates, or were you at the point?
Interestingly enough, 2020 I got into yoga on my own, but she sent me to another level. Like the Pilates really hurts. I don't enjoy that, and I do not do that during the season.
Yeah, but you gotta.
Yeah, the yoga was fun, but the Pilates it's not my deal.
That's another level.
That hurts.
What is the difference? I've done yoga. I've never done Pilates.
So Pilates, you get on a reformer, and it's a lot of resistance stuff. So you can imagine like a 300-pound guy trying to balance and stand up and do single leg squats on a moving platform. It is not.
Is there any chance?
It's a little dangerous.
Is there any chance you'd let our guys Wayne and Trippy go out and film a Pilates class with you? Because we would really.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. You would see me sweating and frowning and questioning my life for all 60 minutes. Certainly not. Certainly
That is
not.
a real shame,
How long
bro.
is this Pilates?
Huh?
How long is this Pilates?
I think it's like an hour. Or was it 45 minutes? 45 minutes of, I don't want to say hell, but yeah.
No, it's pretty close to it.
It's
pretty
bad.
close to it.
I did the hot yoga the one time.
Yeah.
I've done hot yoga.
And like I wanted to die, and the lady is screaming at me. I'm like, what, lady? I'm gonna pass away. I'm going to perish. In
No,
this
man.
room right here.
I bring my Yeti cup. It's full of ice. I got cool water. It's cool. Like I said, I could deal with that.
I'm
But
a
that-
sweater, so
that
I mean,
Pilates is
that
not.
doesn't work.
I am the most least workout conscious person on this panel, so I cannot relate to anything any of you guys are saying right now.
It's crazy.
What is the best gift that you received for your wedding? And if you want to put it out there, if you want to put your worst gift out there, that's cool too. Because
Yeah,
we want to call somebody out and throw some shade. This is the time to do it.
And let's go ahead and get it away. You can't just take the cop out and say my wife. Like, we know that part. Skip along.
Right.
Like,
So honestly, we didn't ask for any gifts.
really?
No, we did not. Okay. No, we've been blessed, man. Like I said, we get to play football for a living. That takes care of a lot of stuff for us. So, I just wanted my friends and family to be there. They made us a really nice video that was
cool.
really, really touching. But people did contribute to like our honeymoon fund. So we got like
dope.
massages and that stuff when we went to Dubai. But man, like I said, for me and for us, really, it was just about having our friends and family be able to come and celebrate. So
It is the Tyus Bowser Show. Press Box from 105.7 The Fan. We're at Guilford Hall Brewery. Tyus, Mike said that all of his friends and family were there, but were you at the wedding? Did you?
I was not at the wedding.
That's weird.
Why would you do that? Why would you put that man on blast like that?
So this is the deal.
I was honestly leading that into what the politics are of
Weddings
like
and inviting
handling.
people.
Yeah.
So I would skip the politics and say the budget.
Yeah.
The budget is political correctness mainstay. So I think we had 50 people?
Yeah.
40 people. Sorry, 40 people. So like I said, I think 3-4 of my best friends were there. It was very much so an older crowd. Grandmas, aunties, all that
But there's
stuff.
no expectation that like every teammate's supposed to get an invite. Like, because you're not the first guy to get married, obviously.
Right. No, I mean, like I said, I think the only teammate's wedding I've been to was Brandon Williams.
That makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
He's like a big brother to me, but like I said, he spared like no expense. I am more so a
Would you like to call him frugal?
I'd say frugal.
Okay.
I'm a frugal guy. So.
miser, if you will.
I got
is my vocabulary. So no, man, we kept it super small, just like literally day ones, and like I said, aunties, grandmas, uncles,
That's
all
cool.
that stuff.
That's
my
cool.
parents took my guest list, so there we have it.
All right, so we learned, of course, a couple weeks ago, Tyus, you remember your new sack dance for this season, right? Like, you remember that's what we're going to be doing that when you get a
Really,
sack
Glenn?
this season.
Really?
We saw a new dance. I don't know if it was a new dance, but after you knocked down a pass in Cincinnati, Mike, we saw you pull out the Brent Urban swat the ball away move. Can you show? Because I don't know how to do it. Can you show me how you're supposed to do it?
So I don't think I knocked down a pass. He did. But
Okay,
we
listen,
all
all
do
right.
that same celebration. No worries. Shout out to Herb. I don't even know what he calls that. So basically, it's like, he's counting money. He does that first, and then like he's throwing it in the air.
That's
So,
what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So he's counting.
That's the premise
What
behind
does
it.
that mean exactly?
So I mean, I guess like when you make, for us, y'all see football as a game, but like this is our way to earn money.
Correct.
So when that happens, like batted passes, pass breakups, all those things count as money going into your bank account when it's time for you to go back to the table. So just like sacks have dances, and obviously people get paid to make sacks and game-changing plays. People like Herb, who are giants, who get to bat down passes a lot more easily than I do. That's his way of changing the game.
So this is one step closer to his goal or incentive.
For the next, yeah, right, exactly right. That makes
Gotcha.
sense.
Right.
We saw drop back into coverage a few times on Sunday. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention, and you've been doing that the entire time, and you're like, bro, where you? I remember you doing it the first time around a couple of times. Every time I see it, it blows my mind. I'm like, yo, Michael Pierce is in coverage right now. How far would you be able to traverse downfield with like a running back in coverage?
Oh, not very far at
Yeah.
all. Not very far at all. Normally my stuff, not to give away game plans, is very short-lived.
This is the zone.
This is the area where you go no further. So,
it's been a few times
I can
where
move a
I've
little
seen
bit,
it.
but I think after 10 yards, I'm shot.
What would your 40 time be right now? What would it be?
What I run in college? I think I ran 4.9.
I was going to say, would it be under 5? I was going to ask, would it be under 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's insane. Dude, what a freak of an athlete for a man. Like, that is
You know how scary that is?
Right? That's
You know how
bonkers.
scary that is.
Bro, that is
I was
nuts.
seeing Matabike chasing down C.J. Stroud. And I
Now
was
that's
just,
somebody who's
a
physically
freak,
impressive.
And I was just looking. I was like, yo, I can't imagine a 300-pound man running that fast. What was running like 17 miles per hour?
18 miles an hour.
Sure.
That's fast.
He was rolling.
At 300 pounds.
Rolling.
Yo, we're going to need to send you guys out when the aliens come. Like, we're going to need you to help us out in those moments when the aliens come in. But you and I had a conversation last week, and I just wondered if we could share it with a different audience about, Rita mentioned you being back this time, and what really stood out to me in talking to you is, like, not taking it for granted and how, like, you can hear in your voice how much of a blessing this is at this point. Can you kind of convey for everybody, you know, being through, I don't think everybody realizes, like, sitting out a season, then getting hurt, then like, everything that you've been through, what a blessing it is to be doing this now at this point in the place where it all started.
Yeah, no, man. Like I said, recapping my story real quick, like, nothing was given to me. I was undrafted from a D1 AA, came in behind Brandon Williams, had some awesome guys like LG and I think Timmy Jernigan, Carl Davis, all those guys were ahead of me on the depth chart. And like I said, I honestly looked up to a lot of those guys, especially like Timmy at Florida State. Amazing college film and pro film, obviously. But, no, man, I fought my way onto the roster, just kind of under those guys' tutelage and just started to find my way. Like I said, I did my first 4 years here, played really well. I was even, close to being an alternate to the Pro Bowl my fourth year. So, like I said, I credit all that to, our coaches and, those guys just believing in me to allow me to even get to that point. So that happens, and then COVID hits. I am very much so an asthmatic. I have some upper respiratory issues that I deal with on a daily basis. So my doctor that had me when I was a child told me it's probably best that I sit out. So set out for COVID. Like I said, you going into the prime of your career, come back, start off really well. I think I had 2 sacks against the Bengals on the first game, and then had another one like a week later. Ended up tearing my tricep, so missed like 8 games that year. And then they fired the GM, all that stuff, and then I ended up coming back here, which was obviously a big blessing. And then I think, week 3. So it was around this time last year, ended up tearing my bicep on the same arm. So like I said, for somebody like myself who works really hard, who tries to, everybody tries to, harden up their bodies, make yourself as strong as you can for each and every season. So those things don't happen, but, like I said, everything happens for a reason in God's plan. So like I said, for me, it was more so when I got hurt, I was like, dang, I'm at the height of my career. I'm playing really well, back in Baltimore. Don't intend on leaving, so I just wanted to make a lasting impression that year and then just keep on going from there. But like I said, something happened and tore my bicep, and so I had a whole bunch of time again to not only try to watch football, but just try to rebuild myself. So, man, that was a tough road. I'm sure Tyus can echo the same thing with his Achilles and now his knee. But those are the things you use for motivation, and those are the things you start to really, really, cherish. Not only the relationships that you build, but just those times on the field. So, a fumble recovery may not be a big thing to most people. If you would have told me I made a fumble recovery my 3rd year, I probably would have brushed it off like, I wish I would have had a sack.
I better, right?
Right, so whatever. But, no, just to be back in the bank again, knowing that, I told myself, if I get hurt again, I'm done. Me and my body just can't deal with it. So, no, just to be healthy again, back with my brothers, back in where it all started, to make, any kind of game-changing play, even if it's a fumble recovery, was huge for me. So, man, that was just joy and gratefulness.
What do you say, man? That's awesome. God, that's awesome.
Real quick, how important was it? How important was it for you in terms of like having familiarity with the organization, with the city? I'm sure you had offers at other places, but you chose to come back to Baltimore. So how much of a factor did, knowing the coach, knowing the GM, knowing the guys that you left just a couple of years ago in your decision of coming back here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was huge. Like I said, for me, being when I was year 6, for me it's more so just about being obviously in a solid organization, but winning. So I went to Minnesota. Like I said, unfortunately, I was at the back end of a good thing. And I saw a lot of things that I didn't agree with, but there was no time to change it, obviously. So like I said, for me coming back here, knowing who Harbs is, knowing who Oz is, Mr. DaCosta, on down to the training staff and all the coaches and obviously the players, I had a special bond with them. I never even thought they would even offer me a contract, especially since I left after I turned down the deal. So just knowing what I'm getting into, obviously this is like home for me as an adult. I've never lived anywhere else outside of Minnesota. I actually have family that's from here and lives here. So like I said, this is home for me. I knew what I was getting into. I knew how committed they are to winning. When you come to anybody, you want to have a solid franchise quarterback. Obviously, we have 8.
I hear he's okay.
I knew what was expected from me in the system. So, like I said, from Miss Val, the Shorty and Manny in the kitchen, I knew everybody. Like I said, we all love each other.
Miss Val, yeah,
Miss
she's
Val
been
is
around
my
a long
lady.
time.
Shout out to Miss Val. But like I said, I had special bonds with these guys, and the opportunity just was too good to pass up.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Make some more noise, please, for Tyus Bowser and Michael Pierce. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. So we're 1 week away from a potential date. When we come back in, we're just going to check in with Tyus and see how he's feeling. We're going to really put him on the hot seat is what we're going to do. We're really going to put him on the hot seat, and he's not going to be able to tell us. But we're going to do it anyway. That's the way that it works. When we come back in, it is the Tyus Bowser Show.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience,